Oh, there it is. Fuck. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to work at the beginning. I'm not going to do it. It's really fucking annoying. Alright. Alright. Anyway. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. If you're here, let me know in the comment section if you're here. Um, we are going to do the all black everything roundtable when the black people showed up. You know how it is. If you've been this channel before, you're aware. And then it takes them a while to show up. Yeah. Baking too what we usually do in these situations while we're waiting, very impatiently, right, is to talk about look at the internet and talk about the things that are happening there. Hold on, let me see if I can get this up. I haven't used this screen in a while. Let's see. I very rarely make changes anymore. 1 second. Okay, let's see. Do I do this again? Okay. Oh. Okay. There you go. Alright. Yeah. Alright. And 1 second. Alright. Let's get this up. Alright. So you all should be able to see it. Right? Oh, can you hear me? Still hear me? Because I haven't. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to go through a bit of a news while we wait for black people to show up. It takes a while. Okay, so what are we doing? What are we talking about here? Yeah, so there was that shooting, of course, that took place. Horrible shooting that took place in Georgia. But, like, as always, how I feel about these things is I'm more just resigned to them. I think a lot of Americans feel the same way. We're just kind of resigned to the endless gun violence that takes place in our nation. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? Sorry. Yeah, suspect father arrested connection of... Oh, actually, this is news to me. Actually, I haven't heard this one. I'll click on this. Father of suspected shooter arrested. The father of the 14-year-old suspect. I hate these, like, automatic videos that play. Like, it really fucking annoys me. The father of the 14-year-old suspect in Wednesday's high school shooting has been arrested on charges that include involuntary manslaughter. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation made the announcement on Twitter and said a news conference will be held at 8 p.m. Eastern, I guess now, to discuss the matter. Colin Gray, 54, was arrested on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children, the Bureau said. Oh, well, he was arrested on 4 counts of voluntary manslaughter. Okay, because there were 4 people dead. 2 counts of second-degree murder and 8. I guess I don't know exactly what second-degree murder is. But also, I'm just curious. They're being charged for the manslaughter here, right? Those are the 4 deaths, and 2 separate counts of second-degree murder. Like, I just 2 counts. Why not 4 counts? I'm actually confused about this. I'd have to have a lawyer to maybe tease out why that might be. I don't understand. And 8 counts of cruelty to children, the Bureau said. I guess there were 8 kids were shot? No, there weren't 8 kids. There was, like, what was interesting about this shooting? Interesting about this shooting is that, from what I saw, the information I saw, it seems like there were a lot more kids who got killed. Sorry, teachers got killed rather than students, which I thought was like really, really weird because like in a school, obviously, like you're filled with kids more than adults, right? So like a lot of adults got, maybe they were protecting kids. I don't know. Maybe I don't. And they're sorry, not killed. I say killed, I mean shot, like injured. There was the two. There were in terms of people who died. There was two who were adults, two who were children. It was evenly split there. But in terms of the people who got shot, I think it was like 7 adults and 1 kid. I want to say. I read this last night, but I didn't memorize the count. But like, from what I understand, it was like a heavily skewed to adults rather than minors for the ones that were injured, right? Which I thought was interesting. Like, how did that happen? And it could be maybe they're just protecting the children, and that's how they got hurt. Or maybe he was charging teachers, attending to like rack up a high body count of teachers. Obviously, who knows? Who knows? With this level of insanity. Okay, it looks like some people are gathering. So we're gonna cut over that. But just finish this thought. Like, great suspect father arrested and charged. Look, you got to be held responsible if your kid gets a hold of your gun. I think honestly, if I was talking about this previously, but I think honestly, like you need to be held responsible if someone if like some stranger steals your gun, or your gun just disappears, and then you don't tell. You should tell law enforcement. Be a requirement. Oh, okay, my gun was stolen. Let me tell law enforcement. Let them know that this is a thing, and then they should be on the lookout for like this floating weapon. That would be. It's your responsibility. If you've got a weapon, a killing machine, to keep track of it. And if you lose it, that's okay. I mean, like that doesn't mean like you committed a crime. Fair enough, shit gets stolen all the time. But you need to inform law enforcement. It's a little harder in this case if it's like a family member because they can get in and out before right? So there's that part. But in that case, it's like, well, what were your precautions? Did you lock down your weapons, right? Did they have access to them? How did they get it? If they like you had it like in a secure safe and then they like cracked the safe and took the guns, okay, then I think not guilty, right? I think we should investigate it. But I wouldn't say like, okay, that person did something wrong if they took reasonable precautions and then that someone in their house has managed to circumvent all of that, right? If it was actually in a locked case, and you had the key and they picked the lock or something like that, or maybe they like figured out what the code was, right? And they like typed in the code and they like picked the weapons. Then I wouldn't hold you responsible. I mean, it is what it is, man. I don't have to tell you, all right? Like, there's only so much security we can expect an individual gun owner to be able to put on their weapons. So in that case, that's different. But yeah, if you didn't do that, if they're just around, right? And your child has a reasonable opportunity to get them, and then they use them with some crime. Oh, now we got a problem. Now we do have a problem. Now maybe you should get arrested. That's my thoughts on that. Looks like there's some black people who managed to gather. So let's see if we can pull them in for a conversation. Okay. Yeah. I'm for punishing irresponsible gun owners. Let's see. Hello all.
Talking about the shooting.
Yeah, I was. Let's. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I actually don't have that many thoughts related to it. I mean, like it seems. I don't know. Like I said, it's sad, but it seems a bit inevitable. Like if you like either you were gonna do something about it or we're not gonna do something about it. If you're not gonna do something about it, then they'll happen. Hopefully not super often, but like it's going to happen. There's too many schools in the United States and too many children that come from like you know mm, tough situations or dealing with their own like mental
All right, what
anguish.
do you mean by do something about it?
I'm saying that like when you look at a lot of the when you look at a lot of the Republican politicians in the state of Georgia and their stances related to gun and gun safety and gun ownership, like there's it's inevitable. Like you don't need a permit to carry in Georgia anymore. Like if anything, they keep loosening
Mm.
registration in the state, and I don't know. I think that if you're going to do that, this is part of it. Not like I said, I mean, it's not like he did this illegally, but I'm just saying you're creating an environment that can lead to, you know, like what would it be extra legal, unlegal, I don't know, situations.
So what I hey Wadakai,
Yo.
looking handsome as always, friend. Um, but what I was saying previously is I think there's a level of responsibility that parents should have, or gun sorry let me pull back, gun owners should have for keeping track of their weapons, um and that like if um you aren't taking reasonable precautions to keep your guns away from unauthorized use, right, to get stolen either by a stranger or a family member, then you should be prosecuted for that. What are your thoughts? The father was arrested of the
Mhm.
shooter. Yeah, he was arrested.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you there's a weird line there. I think it would need to be somewhat knowingly, like if you could, I guess it would be like anything else. You would have to prove some level of um
Negligence.
negligence, yeah,
Yeah.
like disregard. Because it's not just like because I don't know if I would feel comfortable like, oh, this thing happened like today. It happened with your gun. You didn't report it, but then like maybe someone took your gun literally while you were at work. Maybe it was in a safe. They unlocked the safe. Like you didn't have a space and time to be reasonably aware of
Yeah, and so what
what's
I
going on.
was saying was like I was like drawing those distinctions, right? One, I think that if your gun is stolen, if you find out that your gun is stolen, then you should like immediately report that to law enforcement.
Mhm,
Like that's should be your responsibility. You should be regularly keeping track. It can't be that, well, 5 days ago it got stolen. Well, how did you not keep track of your gun? You have a dangerous weapon. You should be keeping, if, as a gun owner, right? Just like how you have to keep track of your kids. You can't say like, well, 5 days ago they were okay, then all of a sudden they're dead. Well, why weren't you keeping track of your kids? You should keep track of your guns. However, I do agree with you there because I made the distinction that, well, it's one thing if a stranger breaks into your house, like while you're away, and it takes it, and it's like, well, okay, and then you find out, right? But like when if it's your family member, well, that can happen at any point in time, right?
mhm,
um uh but like then the investigation is less on like how fast you were able to find out, but more like whether you took reasonable precautions, right? So like if it was in the safe, right, and was locked, and maybe like they like saw like it was like a keypad or something, right, and they like figured out the thing, then and they take it out. Well, okay, well then that's fine. Like you had the reasonable precaution, the gun was locked away, and then they circumvented those reasonable precautions. You can't be held responsible for that.
mhm,
But if they just around and it's they could reasonably get to these weapons, well then now you do have a problem. Like even if it happened, while you were away at work, well, it should have been locked away in the first place, right? You
mhm.
should have been taking those precautions. You didn't take those precautions. Now we have a problem.
I don't know if you'll be able to hold someone legally liable for that though.
I think that's like exactly what they're doing right now. And in fact, they well, I don't want to bring up the Colorado. The Colorado shooting was a bit different in that case. They gave the guns to the child in that case. That was different. But for this, I mean, that's what they're doing. Um,
Yeah, let me look. Have to look into that a little bit because
yeah,
I mean, because the only thing, like, if I remember you saying like people should be required to have safes, but I think that if to do that, you would like basically, if you're going to require someone to have something, like the state's going to require you to have something, the state has to provide it. I think.
No, it doesn't. Right? Like
Yeah.
for instance, for like insurance. The state
Hmm.
doesn't provide car insurance, but requires you to have car insurance if you're going to operate a motor vehicle.
Yeah,
Right?
but you can't. But you can't even register your vehicle without car insurance.
Can't even register your. Okay, so then you shouldn't be able to get a gun without a gun safe. Okay, that
That
works for me.
should. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm for that.
Sure, but that still comes. I will. I guess they wouldn't be necessarily providing it, but I'm saying that they're basically the car thing. They don't. There is no means for you to own a vehicle without. Well, like to you can own a vehicle, but there's no means for you to have a vehicle on the road without car
So
insurance.
until
So
you
you
can
can't like purchase
demonstrate,
one. You can't
until you
purchase a
can
vehicle without
demonstrate
insurance.
that you can secure your weapon, you don't get a weapon.
Mm.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah, I'm for that. I think we should. I think it would be fair because God, now I'm blanking on his name. It's been so long since he's been here. But our gun loving friend, he used to come on all like everything, and I'm like blanking on his name right now. Um,
I can
you
think of
remember
a few.
Bam? You remember who I'm talking about?
Gun loving.
Was it B more? Was it
Be more.
Pace?
It's
Was
Be
it?
more. Thank you. Yeah, Be more. I'm sorry. It's been a long time, Be more. I wish you were here, friend. I miss you.
I talk to B
Uh,
more pretty often. Dude's great.
oh, that's good. I'm glad that he's doing well. But in any case, Be more and I had this argument a few times. And he convinced me that well, safes are quite expensive, so I'm for like subsidizing safes, right? Like, I want more if we're gonna have these guns around, unfortunately, right? I want more people to be engaging in safe practices. So I think it'd be very much worth it. I think for the safety of the nation to help subsidize these safes, right? So they're very reasonable to purchase. I'm like, I think that's a worthwhile investment for the government to do. I'd be okay with
Mm.
that.
Okay, so we're looking into it. Yeah, the father's arrest wasn't related to negligence. It was related to the father, like basically the father purchased the gun for the son. He knowingly like the son's
Oh, in
knowingly
this
possessed.
case, he gave this. Okay, then that's different from maybe this new information because previously, right? Like
Hmm.
because the son got interviewed by the FBI like a year ago, right?
Hmm.
And in that interview, the a father says, "Hey, I have hunting rifles." But the boy doesn't have like unfettered access to it. That was the statement to the to law enforcement. And so I was assuming that that status quo continued. If maybe after within that intervening time that he gave the boy a weapon, well, okay, well then still negligence for giving the kid the weapon, sure, or not negligence. I know it's not. I knew he wasn't being charged with negligence. I
Hmm.
read the charges on stream. Right, I
Hmm.
did that. But I'm saying I'm fine with him being charged with whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. If you are
Hmm.
negligent and that's why it happened, even though you might be charged with like, involuntary manslaughter, whatever it might be, I don't care.
Hmm.
Just charge him.
Yeah, that was just according to what I sent what I just read. Like I said, I mean, it
Yeah.
could not be true, but it makes sense in the South in Georgia. I know a lot of kids who started hunting 14, 15, 16, got their, you know, hunter's license and stuff. And there are dads that are like, oh yeah, blah, 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 let's go get you your first gun. Like so, I mean, it's, you can shake your head at it, but I don't, it's not even necessarily a bad thing. Like, obviously, this ended up being a terrible case, but hunting is still a sport like anything else. Shooting is a sport. I don't think necessarily you have to wait to 18 to participate in these things. I don't think you should be able to do it solo, but I think like with adult supervision.
Wait a minute. Did he give his son a weapon? It says, knowing allowing his son to possess the weapon. Does that mean that he gave him the weapon? Or is it that he had access to a weapon?
No, I mean,
Um,
he's talking about possession. I would say think that to be related to ownership.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like if you and your son go hunting together, like I'm saying I'm not trying to make a statement here, like as to like what
Hmm.
exactly happened. Like I'm just trying to work it out. Like if you and your son go hunting together, and he takes one of your guns, he has it in his hands, right? That would say, well, he has possession of the weapon, but he doesn't own the weapon, right? That's your weapon, and he's just hunting with it, right?
But
Well,
what I'm
yeah, I
Um,
mean,
seeing here, father of suspected shooter knowingly allowed his son to have a weapon, officials say. So
yeah, but
reading
like
into it.
yeah, but again, I just I just want to be clear. Does that mean he owned the
Probably
weapon?
not on paper. I mean, he's still a minor. He doesn't own it on paper, but that when everything I read based on how I know hunting goes in the South is this is your gun.
It could be. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's
Like,
not. As I just, I mean,
mhm,
I'm just wanting to get clarification on that. But yeah, fair enough.
mhm.
Um, but anyways,
Because the only other way to read it would be he like left the house with it that day and like, oh, Dad, can I get a gun? And he gave it to him. I think that's the only other way you could read knowingly allowed him to possess. I'm saying
fair
I think
enough.
that he's saying that he possessed it as
Fair
in
enough.
like, oh yeah, I gave my son a gun.
But despite that, I think separately, even if you don't give your kid a gun, so this is what I've seen previously. What if you
Hmm.
don't give your kid a gun?
Hmm.
But it is you have guns in the
You just keep
household,
them
you have
around the
loose
house.
guns in the household, and your kid takes a gun and uses that gun, then you should be held accountable for that, right?
Hmm.
Like let's take something like super irresponsible, like super irresponsible.
Hmm.
And I think I even showed it on stream one time. Was I forget. It was a long time ago, but like uh, there was this guy had some cameras in his home, right, like within the living room. Um, and the caregivers, the parents, right, weren't in the living room. You see this little kid come through, right, and he digs through the couch cushions and he pulls out a fucking handgun,
Hmm.
right? And I believe he shoots the handgun. And I think in this case, I'm not sure if in this case anyone got hit. I don't remember. He might have killed someone, but it was a while ago. But the point is that like it was a small child, right? So it's not the kid's not even responsible, you know. Small
Hmm.
child, he gets the gun, he just like pulls the trigger, like
Hmm.
crazy. That's like crazy irresponsible. If your kid, like you say, your 14-year-old gets that same
Hmm.
handgun from the fucking couch cushions, right, and then goes and hurts someone, yes, you should be held responsible for that. I think you would agree with that, right, Bam?
I'm thinking on it. I'm about to say because there's
Okay.
I'm leaning towards it just simply because I'm making a comparison to drugs, for example.
Okay.
If someone leaves like their drugs out and then the kid ends up doing those drugs because it's like sitting on the counter, then
You mean
the
your legal
parent
drugs or illegal drugs?
illegal drugs.
Okay, then they should be held responsible for that. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
hundred
that's what I'm saying.
percent.
Like, yeah, I mean, think they would be. Like, I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
I think the law now, like, you would be some level of like gross negligence that led to the death of someone. You would probably draw it up like that. Yeah, I don't think I'm. Yeah, I guess I could see it. Yeah, I would. Some level of manslaughter is probably would be the right thing if you leave something out to a degree that's considered gross negligence. Something happens, yeah, you probably be like what second degree manslaughter or something like that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So. So then. Um. Yeah. So like, even if you have it like on a gun rack, right? So it's not like in a couch cushion, but it's on a gun rack, but it's not locked, right? But a person has access to it, so you just go in there and just pick it up, right? I think it's a similar thing. It's not the couch cushion. Couch cushion feels different. Holy fuck, it feels different. But if you just have it on a gun rack and the gun rack isn't locked, right? Someone can reasonably just go take it. I think that's also the same thing.
Mm.
Um,
I think that's where I think I would disagree. I don't think that
oh,
I
how
think
so?
yeah, I understand parents have a responsibility. I completely understand that. But I think once someone reaches to that level of intent to where it's like, oh, okay, it's not like one thing is just out laying around. Another thing is like this is my place where I keep things and they did this. Like and they took intention to go sneak into the spot and grab it and do this thing. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to hold them responsible for that. So, like the again comparing it to, or I would say drugs, but now we're going legal to alcohol. Let's say you have an alcohol stash somewhere, and your kid sneaks into your stash, like because you don't have it under lock and key, drinks it and goes, drunks drives, hit someone. Or is the parent also responsible for negligence in
So
there?
someone brought this up in a conversation online that I was watching, and I don't know if it's true. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer.
Mm.
But they said like you could be held responsible if your kid gets into your alcohol stash. Like they find out like kids have like gone to the parents' alcohol stash, you could be held responsible for them drinking. I don't know if that's true or not.
What does your gut lead you to feel like that's a comfortable decision? If it's like if they have like a wine cellar, like somewhere, it's not in lock and key, but it's not like, hey kids, is out here. Do you think that like, oh, that's a terrible thing, but like now the parents should go to jail? They should be liable for this.
Um, I think it's a good question. Um, I think. hmm, Uh, I- it's a good question. So let me just be like, for my situation, my parents didn't keep their alcohol under lock and key. My parents aren't big drinkers, like at all, right? At all. But they do drink, like usually, for like a Sunday dinner type thing. That's. Um, my parents kept their alcohol in this like little cabinet thing in the living room. Every so often I'd be cleaning, right? It'd be a chore to like actually clean this whole bureau type thing, right? Um, and every time this would happen like if every like a once or twice a year, right? I would open up the that cabinet and I'd be surprised that, oh fuck, we have alcohol here. That's right. Like I would forget that we had alcohol there. Um, but as you know about me, I don't drink, right? When I was a child at that point, I was like more curious about it, but I was a good enough kid to like my parents told me no, I'm not gonna do it, right? So I knew like adult this is a thing for adults, and I wasn't supposed to touch it, so I never touched it. But I could have at any time, like at any point in time, I could have done it. And if I had, right, and I gotten like drunk and intoxicated, and either the police find out, or maybe I like got drunk and then like
Alcohol
did
poisoning.
something stupid, or yeah, or poisoning. Oh fuck, poisoning. Yeah, I didn't consider that. I think it'd been reasonable to hold my parents responsible for not keeping their
I can understand
stuff out
defects coming and like, oh, okay, like we're checking for the child safety, like blah blah blah. You're not fit to be parents. I don't know if I would say like, oh, okay, there's like criminal. I don't know if I would feel comfortable placing criminal accountability there.
Yeah,
But
I think
I don't.
I can go either way on this one. I think
Now I understand
alcohol.
guns aren't alcohol. Yeah, but there is a difference there.
Yeah,
I'll
I was gonna
acknowledge
say
it.
that.
They
Yeah.
they feel differently, but part of me feels close to the same thing, even though I mean maybe it's because I think it's just a different relationship with guns. I don't personally own a gun safe just because one, right now I currently just own pistols. I don't own any rifles, but which I know they make smaller safes you can put pistols in. But I grew up my entire life. There was always, and there still is to this day. There was, well, not under where I currently live, but in my grandparents' house where I grew up, there is a shotgun under my bed from the age of 4. And every time I look at bed, I know it's there. I see it. I've never like played with it or anything because I was just told like, hey, these are guns. Don't mess with them. Like super dangerous. And I, it's, I know that telling someone like it's still a kid that could have went wrong, but I just didn't. Like, and every time I go home, I sleep in that bed, and I know, well, I don't think about it at all, but there is a shotgun under
And
there
your
in
friend
case
Mr.
something happens.
Shotty's underneath there, keeping you safe from monsters. So don't worry, right?
Yeah. So like saying all that is like, oh, like I I completely understand how it could sound like super crazy and dangerous. Like, why would you
That's
put
wildly
guns in a child's
irresponsible.
room?
It's wildly irresponsible. No, I'm serious.
Mhm.
Like, it's wildly irresponsible to do that. Look, you just happened, right? Um, like call it being more like evolutionarily fit, right?
Mhm.
That you can take instructions and follow those instructions. Okay,
Mhm.
right? As a child, you were able to. I was one of those kids too, right? I could
Mhm.
follow the instruction. They told me not to do the thing. I didn't do the thing, right?
Mhm.
Other kids need to experience it, right?
Mhm.
Experience the bad thing before they figure out, oh no, that this like they were right, right?
Mhm.
And those kids deserve that chance to grow up. They just deserve a chance to grow up. But when you have a weapon in the house, right? You're going to vastly lower the chance of them be able to do that. And so you could have been one of those kids, right? And it's reasonable because you're a child, right? Who doesn't like is a hard headed, doesn't understand, and decides like well, all my favorite heroes on in the cartoons, they got shotguns, right? And the shotguns look cool. I want to play the shotgun, and then you hurt yourself or someone else in the family. It's wildly irresponsible.
Yeah, like I said, I get that, but I think it's like I said, I think just there's a bias of growing up like that that makes you feel like guns be places sometimes. Guns be guns just be around. They be doing that, you know.
Yeah, I hear you, but
Yeah.
like we should change that culture. We should change the culture. And like, look, I don't know like what your the financial position. Like I don't know like how rich your parents or grandparents were, right? And so again, like I was saying with B Morph, years ago, that like okay, well I'd be fine with subsidizing these things so that your grandparents, like even if they're working class, I don't know if they were, but even if they're working class, they could reasonably afford that. And so they can keep yourself. They can have the weapon, right? And there's good reasons to have a weapon. They can have that weapon, but they can keep it safe. I think that should be fair.
So the only other thing I would say is the biggest. I'm like medium on guns. I think guns are fun. I don't have gun. I don't have my guns for self defense. I have them because I think they're fun.
Okay.
But for the people who do make the self defense argument, if you end up in a situation where you do have like I own like someone who like specifically owns their gun because I want to be able to defend myself, not out in public, but of like in a home situation.
Mm-hmm.
And my guns are in a gun safe, not near my bedroom, like across the house or down in the basement. Insert whatever
They could
that
be in the
is.
bedroom. Why isn't it in your bedroom? Just put it
I
in the
don't think
bedroom.
I'm about to say, depending on the amount of guns you have, a gun safe wouldn't make sense in a bedroom.
Why
Like
wouldn't it
gun
make
safes
sense
are
to the bedroom?
gun safes can be pretty huge.
Or sorry, not just against it. So let me expand what I'm saying, right? Like a gun lock, right, or anything. There's lots of ways to lock a weapon and so that it can't be used, right? Um, we even have those gun safes type things that attach to the frame of your bed, right? You can just like pull up, like you even have the fingerprint ones now. You can just like tap your fingerprint, and then well, it's like
I
a
don't know
like
if
a
people are
holster
gonna move
attached to
on
the
those. I
frame.
think they'll eventually
Like
catch on, but I think people don't like the idea of like technology
I don't
covering
care if they
like
don't.
that.
I don't give a fuck if they like it or not. That's not my
But
concern if they like it or not. My concern is to keep guns out of the hands of children or unauthorized individuals. Yeah.
but aren't you? I mean, I understand that this is everything you're saying is unreasonable. Let me say that. I think
Okay.
nothing you said is unreasonable. But or haven't you basically said your like ideally your long term goal would be getting to a place where you just don't have guns?
Um. Okay. If I could wave a magic wand and have a perfect world, that perfect world would not include guns, right? That
Mhm,
perfect world would also be like peaceful, and people would have no reason to want a gun, right?
mhm,
But that's not going to happen. I and actually again bringing up Beatmore, like he brought up like really good points as to why it's reasonable to like have guns for protection, and I brought it up many times. Like it's reasonable for black people to have guns to protect themselves from white violence, right?
mhm.
I imagine that plays into why your grandparents, right? Like they might have actual experience, like why they had that shotgun to begin with, right? So I think that's completely reasonable. Um, and so until we solve racism, right? Until we solve all those like societal ills, I think it's reasonable for people to have guns for self defense, right? I would vastly lower the number of guns. People don't need fucking arsenals. I would like manage how many guns a person could buy, and I would hold them far more responsible for whatever happens with that gun. But as of now, I am fine. Not fine. I have accepted that we live in a reality where people need guns.
Okay, but I'm saying the only reason I was asking that is because basically whenever you're making your positions on what you're willing to like, oh, okay, well that's tough, or what you're willing to sacrifice. I'm wondering if on the other side you are making the like a good faith consideration with like safety and accessibility to them
Safety
as
and
part of it.
accessibility.
Uh,
And
well, safety like when I say safety, I mean, maybe I shouldn't use safety. Maybe I should use um protection and
okay,
yeah, yeah, and home defense and whatever. Like
okay,
basically, because if the only reason I say, like, if your goal was to get rid of guns, then and that was the only thing that you cared about, then you would just like, oh, that makes, like, this is a legitimate concern. Like, you just wouldn't care about that. Like, oh, I'm willing to sacrifice that. I'm willing to sacrifice that because your position is to get over here. Versus like, okay, if you were having a good faith interaction with, like, oh, okay, understand why, even though I don't necessarily like that, I'm making a good faith engagement of why that might be important to you, and this is the best middle ground
Yeah.
of reaching that position.
So do you think I was making those concessions?
Yeah, I was just asking if you
Okay, yeah, sure.
what you thought. I didn't want to assume for you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And my position has moved. I've said it before. Like, on no other position have I moved as much, like, back and forth, than on guns. There are some days I'm like, get rid of all of them. But I get it. I understand. And especially, again, like, I'm thinking of your grandparents, like, right now. I've never met them, of course. But like, but like, they're like older black individuals who grew up in the fucking deep south. Like, am I going to tell them they shouldn't have a weapon? Like, that's a rough case to make. It's a rough case to make. Like, I'd imagine either they've seen things themselves or they know people who've experienced some awful things. And it, like, from their perspective, yeah, it makes perfect sense to have a weapon for protection. And so I'm empathetic to that. And I can extend that empathy to beyond people who look like me, obviously, to the rest of the country. But arsenals, no need, right? Yeah.
DQ, what are your thoughts? Do y'all like guns in Colorado? I don't know.
I mean, Colorado has its own like special gun laws too.
Are they good or bad? Are they tough or that's
and,
easier?
and like we also, I think we were also like one of the first states to like do like where you can report someone to like have their guns taken away, from the courts and stuff, from police. I'm not I forgot what that's called.
Red flag laws.
Yes, red flag
Something,
law.
yeah.
That's exactly it. We do that. And then we also have like our own protection laws too. Like, so if someone comes into your house, you are able to kind of claim like you stand your ground
Castle
law.
doctrine.
Yeah, like basically, like, yeah, you can be like, they entered my house or they were on my physical property, so I can like legally shoot them and essentially be okay. But personally, I know my grandmother had guns, but she locked those away. It's not like she ever showed them off. The only time that I ever saw that one gun, I think, um, was when she was giving it to my cousin who was in law enforcement at the time and was like, here, I don't really need this gun, but I've had this gun for many, many, many years, right? And she's never had to use it, thank God. But and I was like, oh, that's the gun that, that you've essentially like said my whole life you had, but has locked away somewhere, like she locked away the alcohol too, because we had people in our family who had addictions. So, like, I'm sure she probably locked it away in the same chest and she hid the keys somewhere else. And, like, yeah, and that's just how it was. But I mean, would I have my own gun? Yes, but I battle with depression. So that's also kind of like a reason why I don't have guns. But I'm not opposed to guns, but I think that you should be responsible with the guns, right? I think you should lock your guns away and be safe with your guns. I don't think you should just have your guns out willy-nilly, especially if you plan to like teach your children about gun safety. You have to act and like do the walk and talk, in the gun safety, Um, and then it becomes kind of complicated, I believe, when you get older, right? And you like know the code to the gun safe because it's like only for emergencies, like you need to get it into the gun safe, right?
Mm.
But then you can also still have like a teenager or an older adult take the guns and use them for whatever means that they want to as well.
Okay, so you can obviously you can say shut the f up or no thanks if I ever ask you something that you don't want to answer. But are you first generation Muslim, or is one side of your family Muslim and the other not? I don't know, or both.
Um, so I am the only person that's Muslim. Like I know that my cousin, one of my cousins is like Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's like
You
never,
converted.
yeah, I
Consider a
can
convert.
never reverted. But yeah, like I just,
Okay, I was
yeah.
just curious because whenever I just picked up when you said that your grandmother locked up the alcohol, so that's why I was like, oh, okay. So I don't guess everyone in their family is not Muslim.
No, 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 no. And this is when I was growing up, and I mean, like, yeah, yeah. No, it was mostly because like family had addictions, and she wanted to make sure that like you weren't like taking alcohol and using it for XYZ purposes that
No,
you weren't supposed to, you know? So,
I
Plenty of
understand.
Muslims drink.
oh,
Plenty of Muslims drink.
Do that?
Yeah.
like I don't drink, but on the alternative, I do eat bacon. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Yeah.
things, like, you
Muslim
know,
sin. Yeah, that's the thing.
also because like, you know, like I converted and like I that's still one of the last things that I like, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't take
I'm a
anything from me.
Not,
very,
not unfortunately. Don't feel guilty about that pork.
I am very extremely like food averse.
I love the sauce.
So like yeah, I'm very picky and so like what I eat and what I don't eat and like how things are on my plate are like it's really, you
Me,
know,
you,
it's
and Prime should have a picky off. I still think I would win, but like it would be Prime put up a decent fight, and hearing your picky too is interesting.
I mean, if you want to um do a picky off, I'm so down because let's figure out who's the most picky of us all.
I actually think the more I thought about it, I feel like at least between me and him, Bam might win actually. When I
Okay.
travel, we'll get back to the guns in a second. When I travel, I'm more willing to eat things
Because you're like
because
in the culture, just
oh
trying to experience.
yeah, because well, it's because I don't know what I don't like. And here, I know what I don't like, right? And so
Mm,
I'm not going to eat it.
mm.
But there, it's like a brand new thing. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. I can get quite adventurous with what I eat in other nations.
Yeah, that's
Um
half the reason I think I don't want to travel is related to food. Maybe yeah, like that's a
Yeah,
big thing.
yeah, yeah. And as much as I would love, love, love to travel, like I'm really scared about that. Like I went to
there are
England.
McDonald's everywhere. There are McDonald's everywhere.
Exactly.
McDonald's isn't even that good. Like
Exactly.
McDonald's is
Well,
like
they're
edible,
better.
but
Yeah,
They're
it's
better
but
in
it's
other places.
oh yeah, actually they can be.
I mean it's probably still McDonald's.
Good. It was good.
No, you
It
can
was
get like in Japan, you can get like a curry bowl and stuff like that. Like
I
they
don't want
sell
curry.
amazing things.
I don't
Yeah.
like curry.
Yeah.
I want chicken
I mean
nuggets.
that's the problem. Yeah, but no. But the point is that like you can get like if like don't let
I know
that
if I
be
go
the
to a
reason.
resort, American food is there.
Don't yeah, well definitely if you go to a resort. But like I wouldn't travel like that. I don't even consider that traveling. Oh, I consider it traveling, but like I don't. That's not the way I travel. And which way?
Mm,
Like my point is, don't let food be the reason why you don't do it, right? Because you can find plenty of what you like in those other countries, right? Because of American imperialism, right? Our food has traveled far and wide. You can find our food out there if that's the case. Like I like the place I'm most and again we can get back to a more substantive conversation in a second. The place that most worried about is like India because like they love their fucking spicy food and I hate any level of spice, any little bit. And they go really spicy there, right?
mm.
I would just like live off McDonald's. Like, I would go there for like a week or so. And I would live off McDonald's. That'd be it. right? Whatever. But I'm not.
Pizza.
I don't want to let that stop me from going to India. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like I say, you can like try pizza. Pizza is everywhere. There's always Subways. There's always KFCs, which are always really
Yo,
interesting to go to
love
in
food.
every single country, right? Because KFCs are different. But like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
always going to be American franchises
Mm.
everywhere, or people who do American style food. But
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank
So
you for
How,
that.
how do you feel about guns? I know I feel like you're not a gun guy, but you surprised me on where you stand on a lot of things. So
mhm.
I don't
your
think this
views
would
on
be a
guns.
huge surprise. I'm definitely anti-gun.
Mhm.
Like growing up in the time of the crack epidemic, when any fight you get into means you could possibly get shot, knowing that stupid people were keeping guns around the house in very negligent ways that their kids could get a hold of it. Going to my buddy's place, having to stay there for the weekend, watching his little brother be like, "Hey, let's go see my brother's gun," and being able to pull it out of a drawer no problem. All these are bad things to me.
Mm.
Like the thing with the shotgun doesn't bother me so much because at best a kid can maybe link off one shot, but I would hope nothing would happen where they pick it up, drop it, harm themselves or someone else. Like just the negligence and harm that it can cause is really brutal to me. And like that was the same thing I was thinking with the alcohol. Like you would probably be held liable if you had to take your kid to the hospital for alcohol poisoning because you let them get into the liquor cabinet and weren't paying attention. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna have a problem with CPS at that point. But in this case, people's kids died because you couldn't keep a handle on your kid. It's horrible.
Mm. Um, I agree. I'm about to say if anybody else had anything related to this or the gun thing, that's completely fine. I had something else I wanted to ask y'all's opinion on though, but I don't want
Mhm.
to jump
No, go
into it.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have any of y'all looked into anything related to the tenant media, temple, like they were the conservative, like Russian propaganda stuff?
Yeah. I've seen a bit about that. Well, where you want to take it?
Yeah, I was about to say, well, just giving a quick overview because there's audience here. Basically, it's I think an indictment just became public record. Was released today. Basically, that said that there were two actual like Russian agents in the United States who basically were money laundering through a company called Tenant Media with Lauren Chin, and they
And her husband.
were and her husband, yeah, and they were funding basically Russian propaganda through basically the some of the biggest names in conservative media talk. The names I don't, I'm not gonna remember all six, but yeah, I know Tim Pool was on there, Dave Rubin was on there, Lauren
Lauren
Southern,
Southern.
yeah, was another, and then there were
Like
three
a
other people.
like a Ben something or
Mhm.
Benny something. Benny.
hmm Benny Johnson, I think maybe. But they're like, and these aren't small sums of money. They were paying like upwards of 400,000 a month to them.
Mhm.
It's just propaganda, and it's just crazy to hear because, like, one conservative media is like now like the other bits of conservative media, they're not going to mention this up. They're not going to bring up that they're actually the ones that are paid paid off by Russians, but they are they're like super gonna bring up Hunter Biden again, and they think Hunter Biden and the big guy are all being paid off as these secret assets when they've been caught doing the exact thing that they constantly put on the left. I just think that's crazy. And I was just wondering, yeah, if any open thoughts related to that.
I find it hilarious because we were sitting there saying Trump is probably a Russian asset for a really long time. And when the Mueller report didn't come out with definitive evidence that Trump for sure was in bed with the Russians, which I
Mhm.
still feel even at best he was a unwitting asset of Russia. And then constantly you're seeing the mindset of right wing or people that are involved with the right wing simping for Russia constantly. You see the Twitter bots and everything simping for Russia. Now all of a sudden it's a shock that people like Tim Pool, who's been saying that Ukraine is in the wrong and saying pro-Russia talking points, was in the pocket of Russia the whole time. Like finally, some vindication for the
But the
truth
thing
we
is,
already knew.
What's crazy is like, I mean, like arrests are being made. Like this is all super illegal. But the thing is, as far as the creators themselves that was building content, I don't think anything's gonna happen. I don't think any of their fans are gonna care. Like I don't think any major conservative. I think it's all just gonna go in the wind.
They're
And
trying
that
to say it's lawfare. I'm tired of hearing that word. They are saying it is lawfare.
what does that mean? I don't even know.
So like
What
go ahead.
engaging using the law aggressively, like lawfare.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, using it against like your enemies, basically, right? So
Okay,
they'll
so
say that like the Trump indictments were lawfare, that like you couldn't get me otherwise, so you're like using the law offensively and also like implicitly, illegitimately against someone else. Yeah.
oh, so they're saying that this is like fake news, basically, and they're just trying to like they're
Oh,
it's
not Tim Pool. He got contacted by the FBI and he's going to be interviewed by them and he said that he's going to comply. Like I think a
no, I
lot
believe it, but I'm just saying is like, are you saying when the people who are calling it lawfare is that what they're arguing that it's just like not real?
I haven't heard all the responses. I only heard Tim
Mm.
Pool's response, and Tim Pool seemed to be taking a bit more responsibility here, and saying, well, he didn't know, but should have known, but he didn't. He didn't say that, like it was like the DOJ out to get him. You know, Biden's DOJ coming after me,
Oh,
like he
okay.
usually does. But I don't know about the others, so I can't speak to them.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry,
Um,
DQ. I cut you off.
DQ.
Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of them are probably gonna make videos and be like, "Well, we didn't know about it," or they're alternatively are going to be like, all is fair, you know. And so, yeah, they may push it under the water, but otherwise, like, I feel like a lot of people are going to know about this and are going to be like, "Well, it does undermine your credibility at the end of the day."
It
Like,
should, but I
it
don't
it
think I don't think it will.
I hope
Um,
it does, I hope it does. 'Cause if
but
you say you're interested,
they
like,
lie about all kinds of things, though. They lie about all kinds of things, and those things are constantly debunked, right? Like half of leftist content is just debunking the content on the right, you know. And these videos are easily available. Like you search one of your favorite creators, and then like their whole list of debunking material will come up. It's like if you are ready to listen to that, then it'll mean something. If you are like la 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 la, Tim Pool is the best, or Dave Rubin is actually a smart, reasonable human being for some fucking reason, then it's not gonna make a difference, right? If you are engaging in fandom, right, rather than like looking for like an honest delivery of news, well then it doesn't matter. You're just gonna root for your team, right? You're gonna root for Dave Rubin, you're gonna root for Tim Pool or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Um,
Um,
well,
The
I was gonna say
grifting,
that. Go ahead, you go first.
the grifting is so blatant at this point. Like you literally had Tucker Carlson going to Moscow to have a meeting to throw softballs at Vladimir Putin. Like their entire side is a Russian op at this point. It's
Yep.
kind of irritating.
Russian
Well, I
billionaire.
was gonna push back against. I saw what you put in the chat.
Mhm.
Bam. I'll definitely talk about that in a second. But what I was going to say is that um, there is so much money floating around on the right, on the conservative media, because there are a lot of people willing to pay them to say anything, right? Like these people are fine with taking money from big corporations to say, yeah, climate change isn't real. Of course not. Like that's silly, right? Let's make fun of people who like scientists. Scientists, what do they know, right?
Mhm.
About climate change, right? Listen to me, random internet asshole, right? And I know it's not a real thing. Um, maybe there's value in that, in obfuscating and changing the minds of the electorate, right?
Mhm.
Like, if imagine if like the backs of big tobacco hadn't been broken, like I don't know, 80 years ago or something, right? And big tobacco is still a thing now. You would have influencers talking about the benefits of smoking cigarettes, right? And saying, well, 4 out of 5 doctors have said that. Oh, and there's these studies, right? Here, I got these studies that say smoking is great. Studies, paid for by big tobacco. This is exactly what we are seeing here on the right. That they have this entire, like Dave Rubin. Why is Dave Rubin rich? He is like fucking wealthy. He's a wealthy individual. It's not because his show is so fucking riveting, right? But he all of a sudden got this got this massive investment to his show, and he goes from like this know nothing on TYT to having this huge studio with like all this production equipment, and then like this mansion, and then another mansion, right? All that happens. How? Like when his first just got started, how that happened? Because he got paid to be a propagandist. They're literally billionaires, so they'll just pay. They'll just pay for you to do the thing. They do it all the time on the right. This doesn't happen on the left. I can assure you. Right? Could I just sell out to just be like a centrist, like Democratic shill, right? No, because there's no one to sell out to. George Soros doesn't actually pay me, unfortunately, right? And there's certainly no leftist billionaire who's handing out checks. That's not a thing. So like that's like people need to like recognize that. So like it's like literally unsurprising. It's literally unsurprising that Tim Pool, and all the rest, right, and the rest of the crew, did the thing, right? That they do this racket all the time. People pay them to get out a message, right? And it's usually quite legal. This time it happens to be illegal because of a foreign source. Now, they may not have known that, but the only reason they didn't know it because they didn't want to know it. Because the videos that they're putting out were pro-Russia, anti-Ukraine videos. And I guess they were just assuming, I don't know, this is just fine, right? And the money was so huge for videos that barely made anything. Like that weren't making some sort of huge impact, right? But they were paying a ridiculous amount of money. They didn't want to know. They don't want to know. And it's just, and they'll get away with that. They'll get away with that. But
not just legally, but like socially, no one is gonna no one is on their side is gonna hold them accountable. But if like, which honestly, it would be on the nose. Don't get me wrong. But if something came out that like Hassan was like, oh yeah, Hassan got $10 from a dude that like was from Russia, like not even like a Russian spy, like a dude sent him $10 via Twitch from Russia, they would be like, he's an asset. What are you talking about? Everyone's bought and paid for the Democratic Party, libtards. Like it would be over, and they would never forget it.
That's exactly the case. Like here, you got this progressive victory thing. Everybody pretty much disclosed that they were working with progressive victory.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And all of a sudden,
I'm sorry, Kai. GSU didn't say hello to nobody. He didn't say how's it going. He came in and chose nah. That was his first word. No.
Nah, bro. Y'all ain't doing.
We was having a great conversation. This nigga just came in with disagreement.
Nope.
He didn't even know the context. Nah.
Bruh. No. Bro, I feel like y'all were horribly misrepresenting what happened. Prime tried to clean it up when I DM'd him at the end, and he said, even if they didn't know, 30 minutes of the time. No, look, y'all niggas are wrong, bro. Y'all know y'all wrong. Y'all know y'all wrong, bro. This is wild.
What part of it were we wrong about?
Bruh, the words that y'all said at the beginning was like implicating that all of these people knew about this. Nobody apparently knew about it except the founders.
Yeah, no one. I agree. At least, I mean, no. Did anyone say
that's not the message that y'all gave off? Y'all said, "Oh, Dave Rubin and Lawrence Southern and Tim Cass and blah blah blah."
All these niggas paid Russian assets.
Any one of them that said the talking points, I'm pretty sure knew where their bread was being buttered, and they took those checks, thankfully, and continued saying the same garbage.
So everyone here agrees with Lee the Watercow, right? What he just said.
No. Wait, no specifically where it's coming from.
I'm saying if they were saying the talking points and they were saying them exactly as they were probably instructed to do or implied to do, they were taking the checks. They knew it wasn't coming from nothing, so they knew where their bread was buttered,
I
and they knew which
say
side to stay on.
You
I
think
say
10
they I say they should have known. And it's not. There are a lot of like within the conservative sphere, right? In general, there's this idea that we shouldn't be involved with the Ukraine war. This is not like just a Russian talking point, right?
Mhm.
Like within
It's
American
not just a
conservatism,
Republican
people have
talking
been
point.
saying, yeah, fair enough, right? Not even just yeah, fair enough, right? It's not even just a
Yeah, it's an
Republican talking point.
anti-establishment talking point.
So a lot of people are saying that you should be anti-Ukraine or something along those lines. Basically, that we shouldn't be involved in this war. And so if that's like the types of talking points they're putting out there, that's like not unusual. It's unusual that someone would be paying you this much to actually say that, right? And that's where I think you should have known. But yeah.
So I don't know how the deal was structured or what amount of money was exchanged. We can definitely
$400,000
say
a
that.
month. That
Not
was
for all of them.
explicit.
Not for all of them.
No,
But
that
Dave
was
Yeah,
Rubin,
we
I
don't know
believe.
what they were getting.
Huh?
See, this
We
is
don't know what
see
the
this
individuals were getting.
We know that
No, we
Dave
do.
Rubin and Tim Pool were making $400,000 a month with a $100,000 signing bonus.
No,
For
I
10
don't think
million.
that's
We
true.
know specifically, we do know those two.
I don't know about
No,
They
we
say
don't.
that there's a tier underneath that, but we know that those two are
Tim.
making specifically that.
I know
I don't think we know that.
We do know
we
that.
do. We do know that. Like I believe Dave Rubin. I can't say about Tim Pool, but I
Tim
know
Pool as
Dave
well.
Rubin. Tim Pool, no, but Tim Pool got a shit ton of money. He like for Tim Pool, his deal was different. It was that like he was like Dave Rubin was making specific videos. He had to make extra content for 10 Media or whatever it's called, 10 Cent Media or something, right? But for Tim Pool, he had an existing show, and he just had to like that he was streaming. He also streamed it to another site, right? So he didn't have to actually make any other extra content. It's just like the existing show that he was making, he had to stream it to another site. That's my understanding of that deal. And he was getting, from my understanding, he was getting paid a different amount. But he was like it was like $10,000 or so a stream, which is a ridiculous amount of money, like 300,000 a month or something along those lines. But yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, the only thing I see, it says unidentified person. I guess we can say Tim Pool is like probably the most famous out of all of them, so it's most likely him, right?
People were uncovering. I don't know how they
They had connections related to name from person to person. Like there's details. If you go through,
Yeah.
I haven't went through the indictment, but you can match up like, okay, this is Tim Pool. Tim Pool's
Yeah,
making
that's basically what
$400,000.
happened.
Oh, I haven't seen the actual indictment either. I've only seen all of the news about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think
like,
if somebody was like, "Hey, Prime," I'm sorry, go ahead, the Queen.
My thing is this. If you know that you're getting paid that much to say something specifically, you know that shit's an ad. Straight up. Straight up. If you are getting paid to say something very specific, that shit is a straight up ad. And you should ask yourself, where the fuck is that money coming from? And I agree with you, Prime. They should have fucking known. They should have fucking known. You know, because that money is very specific.
Maybe
Like,
one thing if it was like 10 bands. I mean, don't get me wrong. 10 bands for me would be crazy, but 10,000 for them would be like, oh, okay, like whatever a company can get that. But like $400,000 a month, where is this coming from? Like Tenant Media, can you pay me this?
They're not. No one is getting paid that much. Like, let's be real. Like, they're not getting paid that much to give an ad. Like, I think that they saw this money, which was way more than what most grifting little companies can give, and they were like, "Fuck yeah!" And I'll say anything you want me to fucking say because it's money. Straight up, it's money. Money it is green.
I'd have to understand more of how this was structured. It's possible that for some of them, this isn't that much money. So, like, it didn't seem weird.
Hold on. Okay, so Tim Pool is extreme. I think he's the wealthiest one there. Within that list, right? Extremely wealthy individual. True, fair enough, right? And his idea of how much is a lot of money is different from ours. Fair enough, right? But we can understand that being paid, let's say it's 10,000. Let's just pretend for now, $10,000 per stream, right? That would be an outrageous amount of money for anyone to be spending on you, right? He gets that, like, this product is not worth, like, how is it worth $10,000 to you
For like
for me to do
700
this
views.
thing? Even though it's not a lot of money compared to like what he usually make, like this is not how like compared to like all his other sponsorships, like this is not how these things are. Go ahead.
So, like, I just want to. I'm asking questions because I'm not sure this stuff. I'm literally googling this stuff as we speak.
Okay.
Wasn't Ninja paid like 100 million by by Facebook and then by that other company? Like, I don't know. Like, these things do sound like somewhat large amounts, but I don't know if they're atypical or weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it's possible that somebody could say, Tim Pool, you have this much reach. So I want to pay you money so you can be a part of something that I have, so I can use your name and likeness, and I'll make money off ads or blah blah blah. And if he's not on the inner workings of my company, he might not understand that. Oh, I actually am not making money from ads or blah blah blah. I'm just paying him a check, right? I think there's a way that this could be constructed.
But he's not even selling. I hear you.
I think he made that from Facebook. I think Facebook, like, oh, Facebook is going to pay me $50 million. Facebook has that. If Joe Schmo from down the street want to pay you $50 million, where'd you get this money? Like, what do you like? What service I'm offering? You like,
and also, one thing. Remember, he's not like selling something. I could see your argument that, well, he doesn't know the internals, and turns out I'm not actually making a profit from it. He's not selling anything. He's pushing a message, right? Like, who's putting this amount of money just to put out this political message that, as we were discussing previously, right, is already out on the right. People have already been saying this, right, about Ukraine and, Russia, right? So, like, why is it so important that you pay me this amount of money just to do this content that I might have already said any which way, right? Like, there's something there. And Gambit, I know if this was you, right, you would have asked questions, right? I know that you would have asked questions. Like,
if the company came to me and they were like, "Hey, you streaming on Twitch? I'm gonna give you $10,000 a month," I wouldn't ask questions. Like, there's nothing like that. Like, so it all depends, bro. Like I'm not saying that these people are just angels and they were definitely unknowingly doing this. I'm saying that it's possible.
Depending on their levels, like if you all of a sudden started,
I think you should just like, you go, Kai.
If you were unironically saying Russian propaganda, like, "Hey, they're just trying to denazify the place. You guys don't like Nazis, do you?" And saying all the talking points, like as they go on paper, while getting this money, you would be complicit. There's no way you would just unironically all of a sudden be saying all the softening points for Russia.
Okay, wait. All right. If it comes out that they were fed things to say to be paid, 1,000% I flip to y'all side instantly. Like, instantly. If it comes out, hey, here's a paper, here's what we need you to go say, here's this money to go say it, absolutely. If it's you guys are expressing opinions that we like, so I want to signal boost your opinions because that fits the greater narrative that we want spoken on these issues, then I'm saying that there's plausible deniability. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing less. I'm not saying nothing more.
Issues? Wait, like, I want to see what you're saying. Like, are you saying like if they target the issues, like they didn't say like, oh, say whatever you want, like we're paying you to talk about this specific topic?
If somebody told me that somebody came to Prime and they said, "Hey, Prime, we really like your opinion on how you want to fight homelessness. We're gonna signal boost your content in order to." Because we like your opinion, and it turned out that it was some foreign George Soros nonsense shit on the left, I wouldn't say Prime should have definitely known. And I give them the same gravity or levity that I would give Prime.
I think you are a Dave Ramsey dude. I think you're a financially fiscal responsible dude. I think if a nigga really did, if some, like, all jokes aside, if somebody did say, hey, Gambit, we want to pay you $25,000 a month, like, or $25,000 a month just for your content. Like, you would say, oh, okay, but I think you would have questions. Oh, you think what type of content you want to do? What are the stipulations of this contract? Like, I think you would have questions.
At the stage of life that I am now, I probably wouldn't. But I I don't know if people do that. Like, there's deals that I have with certain organizations, and I don't really ask them for their internals. Like, if I'm a paid consultant, I'm not asking them, "Hey, how do you make your money?" Right? I don't care. All I care is that I get my check when I get my check.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Like,
I think that I would consider when you work in essentially the propaganda industry, which is what like specifically like the type of media that Tim Pool and stuff does. I think there's an extra level of wariness. Like, oh, okay, I could be used to spew certain narratives of propaganda because that's literally my media. That's what I do. I what the things I say
really?
has influence on what people believe. I
Yeah.
know
So
that's what I do.
Prime, if Kick came to you and they're like they came to Destiny or XQC or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give you this $1 million contract. Every
They
time you
lost their
stream,
minds.
you're gonna get this much money. You're gonna get paid this much per hour." And would you say, "Oh, well, hold on, wait, is Kick being financed by the Russians?" Right? Like, I don't think we do that. I don't think. I think we're putting an
Um,
unfair barrier on people who are just participants in
But
contracts.
I think it's weird because we're like, I mean, not no shade to Prime where he's currently at, but I think it's just a different level of reach. Like, I think Destiny has spoken specifically about like, oh yeah, they're like early on when you're a small creator, you probably take on any type of sponsorship deal you're willing to get. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like a way to make yourself some money. And once you hit a point where like, oh, okay, I actually do make a lot of money from doing this, most content creators tend to say that like now I'm become more picky on the types of like advertisement I
Yeah,
do
but
because I understand I have like a bigger reach and there's a responsibility for the types of things that I take
no,
deals on.
I think so. This is why I said it depends on how authentic they were in their content. I think if anybody comes to Destiny and they say, "Hey, Destiny, we like the things that you say. Here's this bag. We'll give you X amount of shares of the company. You can keep yourself the same, but we're just gonna help signal boost you." He takes the bag, and I don't think there's some burden that he has to try to figure out, is this is this some kind of collusion with a foreign entity, right?
I
Like,
think it depends on the type of content they want you to make. Like if it's just like talk
but
about
no, no,
stuff you
that's what
regularly talk
no,
about,
no. So that's where I'm being specific. I'm saying if they were being authentic and being paid, yes. If they brought them a sheet of paper and said, "Hey, here's the topics," it gets a lot more murky. If they brought them and said, "Here's the opinion," that's like for sure they're colluding, right?
yeah,
So I think there's
I would
different levels of.
but I believe there was topics. I think they understood that they want like we want you to talk about Russia Ukraine, even if it's like you're folks. Like I don't think they just said we're gonna pay you to talk about climate change.
So
I think
somebody went to Daily, if somebody went to Daily Wire and they said, "Hey, we want you to, we make political content. We talk about transgenderism. We talk about abortion. We talk about the effects of DEI." I don't think that'd be weird,
But
right?
that's
but,
general social issues. Like
but
that's
that
not
would
just Russia. So we talk about Russia. That's what we do
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. Hold on. So hold on. There's multiple things here. One, what Bam just said is very important, right? The subject matter of this isn't just a random subject matter. It's not just abortion. That could be another billionaire, right? Like a Christian evangelical billionaire who want to push that message, right? And that would be perfectly legal if they did it, right? A domestic kind. So that's one thing. The specific message that we're talking about, that's something very specific. But beyond that, I think I would combine your two positions, right? That they're not mutually exclusive. That there could have been talking points. Hey, like for these streams that we're going to pay you for, we need you to hit these talking points, right? Or be something on this like general subject matter, right? And at the same time, they could be their authentic selves because that would be the person you would go to. No, you wouldn't
Oh no,
come
but
to
that's what I
me.
was saying. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. No.
So yeah, you wouldn't come to me because no, I'm not gonna spew like I'm not. That's not my opinion on why I should propaganda.
And it's not your audience.
It'd be a massive risk to give me that kind of money to to go against the talking points of I usually say, right? So yes, you would go to a temple who might authentically feel that we shouldn't be part of the Ukraine war. But that doesn't, just because he has that opinion, doesn't mean that that protects him from not being suspicious of this money that's pro Russia, right? Pro a foreign enemy that's just like mysteriously coming into his bank account, right? Like that's what we're talking about. I do you see what I'm
Like,
trying to say
we're
here?
not gonna tell you what to say, but yeah, bring up Russia like 4 times each stream. Like, just talk, just mention
Not
it.
even
You know
just
what I'm saying?
bring up
no,
Russia.
man.
It's say the things like the specific obfuscating talking points and propaganda that the Russian shills use. If they were just talking about Russia or talking about the situation, I wouldn't say a thing. If there was any nuance going on,
So
but they're
look,
straight up saying the things.
so you all are a little bit more informed than me. I'm trying to parse out your opinion from the indictment because it
What it
sounds like
says.
a lot of y'all are aware. So I'm asking you hyper specific question, Waterkai. It's not because I'm trying to be disingenuous. It's because I'm trying to figure out
Oh,
what
I
are
don't
you
think you
saying
are. It's just
versus what
like
have you read.
I'm
No, no.
being
So,
very
but
clear.
no, but the question I want to ask you is when you say they said say the thing, is the indictment saying, hey, we want you to say this and we're going to pay you
I
this
haven't read
money?
the indictment
Is that something
myself.
that, yeah, or is that something that is your opinion on the matter? And I'm not, I don't want that to sound bad faith. I'm just trying to gain knowledge here.
Well, I'm pretty sure the indictment has to do more so where the money was coming from, not so much the things they were saying, because they can kind of spew disinformation or whatever and not get in trouble for it.
Mm.
But in this instance, the fact that they were willing to do it makes them complicit with this organization that was laundering money. They should be considered foreign agents at this point.
Yeah, and that's why I ask if should it be considered treason at that point because they have been assets for a foreign country. Is that treasonous? Do we indict them under
No, I
treason?
think
I,
I
I
think
would
it's
say
I think
no.
I think
This is
everything's legal. Well, I mean, it's definitely not treason, but I also don't even think it's technically illegal to advocate and express. Like, I think you can explicitly. Like, I think the
wait,
big issue with
what
the
is,
indictment was that like the money
what
wasn't
is the indictment
where it
for
was.
though?
It's a few things: money laundering, like basically not reporting where your funds are coming from.
Oh,
And
gotcha. Okay, good. Okay,
but I
gotcha.
think
I was
but
going to say, are they
that's just
being
what's been
indicted for
released.
treason? But
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't to talk to DQ directly. Like especially when we're talking about these creators. I wouldn't say that they were treasonous.
Well, if
I think that's definitely a step too far.
that's what we're saying, right?
What'd you say?
Like if they knew where the money was coming from, as some of y'all were saying, right? Then would that be considered treason? Because
Um,
if they knew where the money was coming from, then I mean, if they were
uh,
unaware, then maybe not so much treasonous.
okay, so let's take it to another example. All right, completely different example. We have another person, in our government who was an unregistered, an illegally unregistered foreign agent. That was Bob Menendez, the Democrat from New Jersey, Democratic senator from New Jersey, who just got convicted of that, right? And I forget which country was this. Egypt? I forget
Yes.
which one. Egypt. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So he was for Egypt. Let's pretend Egypt is. Well, Egypt is an enemy; it's an ally. But let's even if it was an ally. Actually, okay. Well, he was convicted of being an unregistered foreign agent, which I think was correct. Okay, right. But there's a wrinkle here that Egypt is not an enemy. Oh, okay. Then we can. There's another example, right? Recently with Kathy Hochul and her aide, not Kathy Hochul herself, but she had an aide, who had Chinese relations, and she has just been not convicted, but arrested and charged with being an unregistered foreign agent as well for China, right? And that she was um like well she was doing a whole bunch of things that were pro China, right? There's a whole list of things, and she got paid, and she knew where the money was coming from. That one definitely knew. Okay. um in that case, is that person treasonous? uh
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
I think I think
They know where the money is coming from, And that just it like automatically it implies that you know that they are getting this money from a very specific place to say some things or do something that is pro another country.
Well, an enemy country, right? That would be like you would say that would be different. Well, would you make a difference between like Egypt, which is explicitly an ally, and then like China, which is an enemy?
Regardless, you are still being pro another country when you're an American.
Yeah, I
And,
don't think that's illegal.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. My
Yeah,
parents are Haitian, right? And they're not like involved in any government, right? Like a government position or anything like that. But let's say they were. And they talked about like, hey, America should have really like much better relations with Haiti, right? And they advocated these policies. It would be really nice if America did that. And do that like independently. Well, they'd be doing something for that government, right? Even if they're not getting paid, they'd be like materially helping that other, well, not materially, but helping that government. And would that be treasonous, right? Just because you're not getting paid, like being paid isn't the difference between being treasonous or not, right? So we can move that aside. You're saying if you're helping another country, okay, well, in that case, my parents would be helping their home country by like talking about pro-Haitian policies. And then you would say that's treasonous? No, that's not how it works. We can advocate for other.
no, it's because another country influenced you to do something, right?
What does influence mean though? If like
If these were like authentic opinions.
I mean, like
Yeah.
like even using Russia, like Russia today, like I mean, it's in the name, is an actual Russian funded news outlet in the United States, and they're basically, but because they report everything well, like they have a clear understanding that like, oh yeah, we are trying, like we're paying United States citizens to spew like positive propaganda, or what you call it, like views of Russia, and that's a legal thing.
I do
in the
want to
United
add
States. It's not
something
illegal.
too.
well, when
I
it
do want
was
to add something.
now it is illegal because they're sanctioned now.
We
But before it
always
wasn't. So I just put that
Yeah,
out
I know,
there.
yeah.
I do want to read a part of this indictment. I'm literally googling this live, so
Uh-huh.
like just do it live. This is what Dave Rubin posted on his Twitter, which is an excerpt from the indictment. It says Founder 1 and Founder 2, which likely is Lauren Chin. I can't remember the
And her
person's name, right?
husband. Yeah.
Yeah. Worked together to mask U.S. Company One's true source of funding, RT, by falsely portraying to Commentator One and Commentator Two, which are probably Dave Rubin and Tim Pool, that the U.S. company was sponsored by a private investor named Edward Gregorian, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
Gregorian calendar, I guess. In truth and in fact, Gregorian was a fictional persona. For example, during contract negotiation, Commentator One requested that Founder One provide a profile or article on Edward Gregorian. In response, Founder One sent Commentator One a one-page profile provided to Founder One by another fictional persona purporting to represent that person. So it sounds like not only were they lied to, but they did ask questions and they just got back whatever they thought
They
was
got back to me, yes.
satisfactory.
Mhm.
So it sounds like they did ask. Maybe they didn't do some level of digging that y'all think is necessary, but and I'm assuming what he posted is from the indictment. I'm not verified. It's just
No,
this
it
off.
is. It is.
This is
I
on
know
his
that.
Twitter.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know that part. Yeah.
but assuming this is true, I even more feel like now it has to be like a master scheme. This was set up for them to create this fake persona to give them plausible deniability. If we're gonna say that they were involved, like that's the level of claim that you'd have to make after I read this.
Like I'm saying, hold on. To be clear, I'm not saying that they should be charged.
Yeah, I'm not saying you.
Right.
I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm even fine with them. I'm even fine with like if we hit to the point where like, oh, okay, they were just ignorant, they didn't know. I still think that I still think it should take their credibility should take a massive hit,
Absolutely.
regardless. Like, and I think that would be true across the board. If anyone came out there like, oh yeah, you know, you were getting paid by registered assets, you probably like aren't a credible, you probably shouldn't be considered like a big name or credible source. Like we should take what you say with a grain of salt because
So for
you were paid.
so for
Yes.
pro-Palestinian or a pro-Jewish commentator was some kind of way a part
Find
of a
out they were
company
funded.
that they didn't know about that was funded from either Israel or from some kind of Hamas cabal or something. You'd say the same thing about those people?
For sure. You think their credibilities wouldn't take hits? You wouldn't say that, oh, you're actually bought and paid for? You wouldn't say that. You
I
wouldn't
would
think that would be
probably
you
joke
think that's
about them.
unreasonable.
I would joke on them like the reason I saw this because STV Philly replied to it and said literally a Russian bot, which is the funniest comment I've seen in my life. So I would definitely make jokes about them, but would I hold them responsible? I don't think so. I think of this as if it was Destiny or Prime or somebody that I interact with. I wouldn't make this jump to say, oh, this somewhat diminishes how smart I think you are or your sophistication. I don't see that.
No. I mean, maybe we disagree. Yeah, I would just think that, like, yeah, your credibility, like, it doesn't mean you instantly go from 100 to 0. But I would say that, like, oh, okay, yeah, you can be bought and paid for. They're probably like it was an effed up thing. You should take a massive hit in your credibility.
But it's more but it's other things here, right? Again, because our friend, I think it was Bam, brought up Progressive Victory, right? Progressive Victory
What
paid
is
me
that?
for a stream a while ago. You know this.
You got foreign money too?
Jesus
What's
Christ,
Yeah.
Prime is bought and paid for.
You're bought and paid for?
Yeah, indeed. They paid me for a stream, but when I did that stream,
Don't try to like be like, oh, they paid me. Come on, how much you paid?
Ooh
I'm
wee,
a little
look what money
confused.
make a
Right.
chick do.
So they paid me for a stream, but like I had their like logos all over the place, right? It was like PV Progressive Victory, right? I made a specific screen like street in
This
Streamlabs, right?
happened?
Yeah, this happened. Yeah, I did this.
I didn't know you were about to pay for it. No, go
Okay,
ahead.
but anyway, whatever. So Progressive Victory, and I'm up into more sponsorships. Progressive Victory, paid me, but like I made sure I was like hashtag ad or whatever, like in the title. And I made it very clear, and I reminded the audience multiple times during the stream, hey, like this is a paid stream, right? So there's no question about it. If they were doing that, and this would be a bit different, right? They're letting their audience know, well, okay, I'm doing this stream, but I am getting paid, and we're to talk about this thing. Then I'd definitely be saying like, well, not guilty, right? Like you weren't trying to hide anything. You were upfront with your audience, right? And okay, adding in what you said before about like Gregorius, right? Like the fake individual, right? Well, like yeah, someone came to me, right? They don't have to say the name, of course, but like yeah, someone came to me and was like, I would really like you to talk about this. So this is a paid stream, and so we're going to discuss these issues. I'd say definitely like not guilty, but we're doing these streams. We're not saying that we're being paid. We're getting and we're what we're getting paid for is to talk about is to say that an enemy of the United States, right? That putting a talking point that benefits an enemy of the United States, right? Getting paid a ridiculous amount of money to do so, and to say that you don't have any idea, right? I think they got plausible deniability exactly from the Gregorian character, but that's what they wanted. They wanted that fig leaf, right? Like, if not, if they were being fully transparent in trying their best to like communicate that to the audience, I think that it completely changes the characteristics of this incident, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think there's any billionaire that's
no.
not Googleable?
So hold on,
this
hold
is just
on.
an honest question.
I think there are some, but question. Wasn't it announced that this thing was a media company that they were a part of? I'm just looking at the wiki. I don't think it was a secret that they were a part of this.
Does everyone
media?
For the people stumbling upon Tim Pool's stream, do they know? Oh, he's working for this media company. Of course, they wouldn't know that. Like that's like unfair, right? Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like I think it's public that they were a part of whatever this. Does this entity have a
Yeah, but
website? I
they don't know
can't.
what to do. Like, yeah,
Oh,
okay, you tell me that they're part of
yeah,
this media company. What does that
website.
mean?
They're on the website, bro.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can go to
So hold
tenantmedia.com.
on, hold on. Am I searching for this? Come on, Gambit. Am I searching for this media company? And if I do, if I stumble upon it, do I
I
know
see what
what
you're
they're
saying.
doing with the media company? I have no
Okay, wait.
idea.
Okay, wait. I think I see what you're saying.
Okay.
This is what you're saying. You're saying that yes, it was publicly announced that they were a part of this. But
Dang,
if
it's
this
got all
isn't,
6 niggas.
this is why you were talking about the banners. You're saying that if it's not embedded in your content, it's not reasonable that the audience knows. Okay,
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
you. I understand that now. I
yeah.
got you. I got you. Okay. Now, why you said all of that, I can wrap that together.
Okay,
It
fair
makes
enough,
sense.
fair enough,
Okay.
fair enough. Yeah.
This website is crappy. I'm about to say if they got $10 million, they could have did more with this website.
What?
But like when
Yeah,
you look at
YouTube.
when you go to the homepage, it literally is like, oh, all 6 of the niggas getting paid. Like that's it, just line boom, 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 boom. They basically could use these as mugshots. I know none of them are getting arrested, but it's just like crazy. I was like, oh, there they are.
Lauren Chen needs to be arrested. I think we all agree on that one, right? Like Lauren Chen, she was founder one and founder two with her and her husband, and they
Oh, for
actively,
some kind of fraud, for sure.
yeah,
They knew they were lying and all types of stuff.
yeah,
it seemed.
lied.
So,
If they honestly
But,
lied to, if they actually lied to Tim Pool, right, or Dave Rubin,
yeah.
if they asked questions, right there, that's a charge, right there.
Yes,
And then
100%. Yeah,
and then
without
in the
doubt.
indictment they said they were hiding where the money was coming from. Yeah, like those would be charged all. They need to be in jail.
Yes, I agree, 100%. They'll
But
probably only have to pay financial penalties, which is crazy, but they should be in
yeah,
jail.
fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's um. And they knew they were Russian. And like all throughout the indictment, they like Lauren Chen and her husband are saying, "Hey, we're getting paid from the Russians, right?" Like they knew. But I really want to like dig in to what DQ is saying because I'm still struggling with it, right? And like trying to figure out like what my boundaries here are. Like what's treasonous? Now, is Lauren Chen, is she treasonous? She absolutely knew, and she was working to conceal the involvement of the Russians, right? Is she treasonous? That's different from like just advocating for like pro-Russian policies. Like, yeah, well, hey, like I think that we should like lower the sanctions on Russia because they're good people or whatever the fuck, right? But to actually be taking money from the Russians and then like hiding it, like circumventing U.S. bank laws, right?
Yeah.
That feels more treasonous to me. What do you guys think?
So treason to me has to be something that's to the detriment of your own country, right?
Hmm.
It's like, hey, I'm propping up XYZ country,
Mm-hmm.
and in that there's something that hurts my own country in this, like the way that I'm propping this entity up.
I mean, I'm
So
funneling
I
money
wouldn't see
in.
it as treason. I wouldn't say it as treason just because of that, because it's about two foreign entities and you're propping up one foreign entity over the other. It's still, they should still go to jail for all of the financial
Mm-hmm.
stuff that is hopefully going to happen to them. But is it treason? I still don't think it's treason though. Like maybe if we were at war with Russia and they were doing this, then I feel totally different. Maybe there's still a free speech aspect of this that's really hard to dap on because they're knowingly committing fraud, right? That's the hard part of it. But given the situation that's here today, I would say no, it's not treason. Given we were at war with Russia and they were doing this, I could at least understand the argument more for sure.
Well,
What if they put their money? What if they used it instead of just like media to random content creators? What if they used it to basically fund a politician's campaign? Like, what if they were like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna get a pro-Russian congressperson, like a secret, basically pro-Russian congressperson in force." Would that start to meet the things? Because now you're having like a negative impact on U.S. policy, like directly.
I think I would feel the exact same,
Okay.
depending on what this looked like. If it's just let's say we have some, I don't understand why.
Let's say you have
we
a text
some,
log of it, like saying
no,
that,
no,
like,
I'm saying we have pro-Russian people here in the States. I don't understand why these people exist, but they do. And if one of them were running to be a politician and the Russians were laundering money to them, do I think they should get charged with something more than financial crimes? I don't think so. I don't. It feels weird because I'm a very big advocate of free speech. So even though I understand that people can commit financial crimes and they should go to jail for those, whether or not we call their free speech treason is extremely murky to me. And I'm not sure just real time how to parse that out. I'd have to like think about it and come back.
So
But how do you feel about it?
there's one more step to this that goes further, and I think this is like the obvious line crosser probably for everyone. But let's say, boom, you run that candidate with the Russian money, they win. With winning, they get some security clearance. If they then like funnel like United States information that security clearance granted them back to these Russians, like basically if they went back up the pipeline,
Of
yeah.
course. Yeah,
Mm.
of course.
I thought so. Yeah, that would be.
They still in state secrets, and that's all. They don't even have to be a politician. They don't have to be anybody at that point. That's treason. But so, and I guess this is a question that we should. Are you saying that this person is just spewing things that they believe, or are you saying that they're being paid to spew things that they don't believe? Because I think if it's something that they don't believe, I'm more inclined to call it treason in this situation of the politician, blah blah blah, as well. Like if they're knowingly saying false things for the check from a foreign entity that we're adversarial with, that's a lot different than they just so happen to have opinions that support this foreign entity, right?
I think that's harder to prove, but it does happen. Like
No, I agree. It's hard to prove.
The big thing with like around January 6th and stuff like that, like what was it? Destiny's talked about it recently. Like the fact that like Fox News and Tucker Carlson, like they had like emails and messages knowing that like, oh, okay, none of this election stuff is real, but this is getting views, so we're going to keep saying it anyways. Like I wouldn't say that necessarily like, oh, you're bought and paid for, but you are lying in the interest of like what you call it, like money. Now if that money was Russian and that exact same situation happens, like, oh, like that person knows like, oh, okay, these things we're saying aren't correct. But we know that this is really, really big in the what you call it right now. This is big in the spirit.
If they're doing it and they know it's fake and they're saying it and it's to hurt America, to prop up an like active war adversary, to me, I'm gonna be kind of okay with treason. For sure.
What if their interest isn't in to hurt America? What if it's just to prop themselves up? What if it's just like, wow, this gets me?
Then I don't care. Then it's just I hope they could have been a financial crime. They could do that. If it's hold on, Prime's been trying to get in.
Yeah. I think it can't be. It can't be their intentions. That can't be the dividing line. I think it's got to be like what the harm is, what the if. Like you guys already touched on it, I was going to bring this up before, but like military secrets, okay? So you're handing over classified data. I don't care if you love Russia or if you despise Russia or whatever, like you've handed over secrets to another country or even an
That's because intent is built into that, right? Like
no, I don't think it is.
Well, but there's a reason why
intent's not the word you're looking for, I don't think, right?
No, I am looking for. I'm saying that if I knowingly give state secrets, my intent is declared with the act. If I made a mistake and sent the email and it went to a Russian, I wouldn't get charged with a crime, right?
Yeah, intent's super important.
If I was sending it to primekais@gmail.com and I put primekais2 and primekais2 just so happened to be a foreign entity, I wouldn't get charged with some kind of wild crime. So I think intent is important.
Now, negligence just reached the level of intent. It's a reason why Trump was charged with the Mar-a-Lago case, and Biden, like they say, Biden had documents too. Biden did have documents, but whenever he found out about it, he reported it. Versus Trump, they requesting it for a year and him moving them around the house, hiding from people. And there is an element of intent. It's not just that we're doing the same action.
Hold on. So, it's maybe because I don't have the vocabulary for this.
Does treason require mens rea, right? That's the root of what we're saying, right?
I guess maybe. What? Well,
lawyer.
hold on. So
Yeah,
like,
he's trying to get to a thought.
Yes, treason requires both actus. I've never had to say this word out loud. Reus and mens rea, intent. So you need both of those in order to be
yeah.
charged with
But I
sin.
don't think that's what you were describing previously, though, right? This is what like the and maybe I'm just using the wrong terms, and so I apologize if that's the case. But like you talked about like whether they care about Russia, right? Like whether they authentically care about Russia or whether they don't, right? And that's different from like the intent to actually hand over the secrets, right? I don't care in their hearts whether they are Russian fans or fans of Putin, you know?
Or they just want money.
That part's unimportant to me. It's that like they did it, so they were purposeful. So that might be the intent that we're actually talking about. I think that matters. Do you agree?
Yeah, I can see that is different. I think how I'm construing this is if they believe what they're saying, their intention isn't primarily to hurt the US, it's primarily them voicing their freedom of speech. And to me, that eclipses any harm that they do to the US. So there's like competing narratives hurting the US and free speech. And
But
if
that
we remove the element of free speech, then their intent is to hurt the US. And I think that's what's important.
okay, but that goes to the act, right? And that's where the
Mhm.
dividing line can be, because then you're like, oh well, if it's just a matter of free speech, okay, well then whatever you're talking about is different, obviously, from like giving like we wouldn't say that handing over military secrets is an
Yeah.
act of free speech, right? Yeah, right. So I agree that like it's gotta be like material damage to the United States, right? So whether that's handing over military secrets or sabotaging something, right, for this other nation, that would be something that I would say would be treasonous. I think I can agree with you that like it becomes difficult when it's speech, right? When you're just saying, you know, like and Russia
Yeah,
ain't so bad, you know. Yeah.
exactly.
But okay.
Yeah. So in this case, they are, I believe, being charged for, or they're being accused of money laundering and espionage. So when you get the espionage in there, you're looking at the situations like when the U.S. was trying to pass a spending bill, and the people on the Republican side didn't want to put in for Ukraine spending. So they were specifically funding people that were going to sow division in the U.S., which does affect U.S. politics, the way their delegates want them to vote. So this is a problem in itself. They didn't start saying these things about Russia and about Ukraine until about 2 years ago, somewhere like that. Like I found a Young Turks
No, I
video
think
where
there's a lot
like
of people who are just against foreign aid and against
no, but
intervention. Right?
this is pretty specific because they were fine with the Israel aid. They weren't fine with the aid for Ukraine. So they were
I
saying they
think a
weren't
lot
going to
of
sign the
people are
bill.
not fine with both. And I think it's common to find that in the public, right? There's a lot of like anti-interventionists in our country
Mhm.
that are like, hey, we got people here struggling, we got homeless, we got black issues, we got reparations, we got
Yeah.
legal immigrants, we got blah blah blah. That should be more important than sending money overseas. I'm
I
not
would agree
that
with you if
person,
this
but in
sentiment
certain
was coming
situations,
from
yeah.
both sides, but it's literally one side.
No,
And
no,
the
no. This sentiment
information
is
is
coming from both
funny.
sides, for sure, both sides, for sure, without a doubt.
I
Without a doubt.
can't say that
If
I
you
see
ask
it that
Prime, should
way.
we send money to Israel to bomb and commit a genocide against Palestinians? Prime would say no, we shouldn't.
No, that's why I'm saying that specifically they were fine with the money for Israel. They weren't fine with the money for Ukraine. If they weren't fine with both, I would agree with you 100%. But in this case, it's primarily Ukraine they have a problem with.
Well, I think even that's what can be a reasonable position. You can have an interest in some types of foreign aid and disagree with others because I think Prime is fine with Ukraine aid, but not fine
Yeah.
with Israel.
Yeah. I'm the opposite. Yeah. So like I would say that you can look at each case individually, right, and judge it. I'm not anti-war, right? I'm not like a pacifist. I think there's some times where you need to do military interventions. I'm not for every war the United States gets into, right? I'd say the Iraq war was disastrous, right? I also say the Afghanistan war, but I have like some spicy opinions on that one as well. But like I look at each case individually. There are sometimes I do wish, well, the United States should step in here because I think they might be able to do some good. But yeah, So,
Yeah. It's like I got the same opinion as Prime on this. Slightly different reasons. I'm in software engineering. Ukraine is a really big place for software engineers.
huh.
So there's people in Ukraine that I have familiar relationships with. So of course I want to see them in a better spot, right? When it comes to Palestine and Ukraine, I just really don't care about it because I'm not educated enough on it. Because I don't spend my time educating myself on it. So I'd be against something there. But with Ukraine, I know people there. I have good friends there. So I would want better for Ukraine, right? So like
Mm.
I feel like you can arrive at a different position on two different wars with different dynamics easily without
Mm.
it. But I agree with you that it could be that there is some conspiracy underneath the hood, given that they were being paid money, right?
Yeah, I'm pro funding all the wars. I'm pro war.
Like I would want them to explain why are they okay with
Need
one and
more.
not okay with the other, given they were
Exactly.
being paid. Yeah, I think that's reasonable for sure, 100%.
Mm. Now, do you think that? I mean, I guess we've had what 1.5 explanations. Do you believe that everyone? I'm sure they probably will at some point. But do you think it would be crazy if any of these people just try to move past it? Any of the
You
crazy, like when you
mean
feel
not
some type of way?
address it at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, not address it at all.
They're all gonna address it. I hope they should. That's bad
Yeah,
if they don't.
yeah. I think if you just like made a
You
video
got
like,
some.
you know what's going on with the trans kids, like tomorrow, like nigga, you know we can see you.
No, wait. I'm not saying that there's a time frame in which they should address it. I think as long as they address it, I don't know what investigations are going on, so they might not want to speak because of stuff like that. I think in the next 6 months, 3 months, they should all have. Two of them have already made statements. I think Lauren Southern has it. At least I'm just looking at Twitter. I'm not looking at all their other forms of media, but I think in some way they should. You have to address it, or you're just like that's yuck if you don't say anything. Just act like it. Nah, that's crazy.
And that's what I said earlier. Like if you don't address it, like you just your credibility is already shot, but then already it's
For
like
sure.
you're not addressing like the fact that you got accused of it. And you not saying anything just makes it sound like, well, okay, you definitely knew about it and some
Well, they
shit.
didn't get accused of anything, just to be clear, right? Only Lauren Chen and her husband are accused of something.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's
In
statement should
your,
be y'all just
But
mad
I
because
get
my
what
bitch
you
is
mean.
into the ceiling.
I get what you mean.
you know.
Hold on, wait. Are we going to talk negatively about Kamala?
Yeah,
But anyway, no,
I know you
no,
didn't.
no,
I know
no.
you didn't accidentally say her name right and correct yourself.
Wait, what is Kamala?
Yes, comma, like the thing in the sentence, la.
Kamala,
You was like
not
Kamala?
Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, hold on. Wait. We should do a closing statement on this, just so I know where all y'all land.
Which one's the enemy? All right, yeah. All right, bam.
Yeah, my closing statement is they should all absolutely take a major hit to their credibility. It comes with the brand. You're this big. You found out you're getting paid by a foreign asset, even if it was from negligence. It's not even necessarily about you. It's like if I want to have any respect for the people that listen to you, I think they should like take this on the chin a little bit and be like, oh, okay, maybe I should take the things they say with a grain of salt. Take things with the grain of salt and do more research. And that's for anybody. Like I said, I watch a lot of Destiny stuff. If something came out that Destiny really was being paid by somebody, even if I agree with a lot of his opinions, I would have to take a step back and realize, like, oh, okay, is there a chance that like he was, talking about this topic or talking about this thing for a certain reason? Did he have a narrative? If he was getting paid 500 shekels to talk about Israel, like you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, maybe I need to step back and rethink how I feel about this. But that's about it.
Wait, can I just ask an intervening question?
Mhm.
Do you watch Destiny stuff? Bam.
Yeah,
Why?
I got into it's a long pathway. Well, she asked if I watched them. I've probably seen an irresponsible amount of Destiny stuff, but I've started. I think I got into politics. I thought like, oh, I know about politics. I'm a libertarian, and then I actually learned a little bit more about politics. I was like, oh, I'm not a libertarian. I'm a leftist, and then I learned a little bit more about politics, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not a leftist. I'm a nigga that like the Democrats, and I was like, who is a nigga that makes sense that like the Democrats? I was watching Abba and Preach. I thought they were like smart niggas that like the Democrats. And then
You thought they were? They are smart.
well, they are, yeah. But I'm saying like
Okay.
I watched them, and then they did a reaction video to some Destiny's comment. He was commenting on the girl that had like a crazy rape allegation, and I was like, wow, this nigga is cooking her. And then I found out he was cooking other people, and I just went through and been watching them probably like maybe 5-6 years, something like that.
Bam, me and you need to have a conversation after.
I'm a great guy.
But
I'm
y'all
just
don't
not
all watch Destiny in some respect.
We need to have a
Debate
conversation.
Queen, weren't you on Destiny stream? If I remember right.
I was not on
No, she
Destiny.
No,
called
she wasn't.
C-SPAN.
And she called C-SPAN, and
Allegedly.
then
Allegedly.
Oh yeah. I should have brought it up. I forgot. No. Let's skip past that. Let's skip past that. Let's move.
Mordecai.
Allegedly.
So, as I brought up earlier about the progressive victory stuff, they were upfront about funding people, the people that were being funded, let it be known that it is for this purpose. And I can respect, even if I didn't agree with what they were funding, I would respect that they're being upfront with what's being done. With these individuals, they were taking money on the back end, for some reason not asking why. So I will give them plausible deniability to say that they may not have known that it was laundered money and they were just taking money from Russians they thought were on the up and up. I can't know that for sure, but I really want to say a suspect because that's a lot of money. But for the most part, they were doing compromat and they were doing propaganda and not being forthcoming with where the money was coming from and what their intentions were for doing so. So I think all the way around, they shouldn't be allowed to continue broadcasting as they have been. And at worst, they should be held as foreign agents.
DQ.
Yeah. I think, like I said earlier, some of this is very treasonous, in my personal opinion. I think that it's all bad, about foreign agents, whether it's from Russia or from Israel. It's all the same thing, and which is to influence America and Americans, which again is all bad. And we need to be very serious about what is going on and what is influencing us and where it is coming from.
JC, I'll let you get the final word, so I'll say something and then let you have the final word on that.
Okay.
So, I think that, they had every reason to suspect that this wasn't on the up and up. I am right. So I bought the example of my parents, but like I'm a person who believes that we should change U.S. Haiti relations. That the way they are now, it's horrible. It's been super racist for like literally since its entire existence. So yeah. And I've advocated on the show for that done in public. And so I would be a great target if someone with money wanted to approach, because those are already my opinions, right? If they did, I'd be suspicious as to why. But even if I thought that they were if they had presented themselves as a domestic source, right? And it's like, okay, I'm a domestic Haitian millionaire, and I want to empower you, right? Okay, I mean, I guess that's fine. As far as I know, it's legal. I would consult the lawyer to make sure, right? But at the very least, I'm going to allow my audience to know that despite me having these opinions, this stream is sponsored, right? So there's no question about it. If a person, approached me, wanted me to get this message out. It's a message I happen to actually agree with. I sincerely do. And so we're going to talk about it. But this is sponsored content. As far as I know, they didn't do that. That's a problem.
Yeah, I think I said something earlier I definitely disagree with. Bam asked me the question earlier, should their credibility take a hit? And I think I said no. I think what I meant to say, now that I'm rethinking this and I listen to y'all closing, for sure their credibility takes a hit. Like, you got duped by the Russians, right? So for sure there's some level of decrease in their credibility. What I was meaning to say is I wouldn't look at them the same as somebody who was like obviously like purposefully doing it, right? So definitely agree with you, Bam, that yes, that credibility takes hit because of this. Period. Like, um, but yeah, I think there's a lot of plausible deniability, and I'm just gonna run with that plausible deniability makes sense based off just the small excerpts that I read from probably a 100-page indictment, right? So as it stands right now, I would say for the people who are the owners of this company and were in the know, then hopefully there's financial crimes that are prosecuted and they face actual jail time rather than just pay a fine for. For the people that were duped, it's egg on their face. I hope they all publicly address it and explain their opinion so we can gain more insight into what happened. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's only 32 pages, which is still like legal stuff, but that's surprisingly short.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we're gonna go into our next topic, prepared topic. We wanted to discuss previously last week, but we didn't get a chance to get to it. Before then, hey, if you're watching this content and you've been enjoying it, consider following the channel. If you haven't done so yet, follow Twitch, follow us on YouTube. We'd love to have you. Consider supporting this channel. We do need your help. A brand new month of September, and remember, you get discounts. This is the month to support if you haven't supported yet. I see a few of you out there without a sub badge next to your name. Consider supporting the channel. Sub to the channel, get bits or give subs. If you're on YouTube, consider using a super chat if you want to, want us to respond. Or if you're on, you can also do bits if you're on. If you're on Twitch, right, and you want us to respond to some sort of message. But we do need your help. So if you want more of this content, please help us out. We only have one sub so far this month. Consider helping out the channel. Subs to the channel, give bits or give subs. If you want more of all of this. Let's go to the topic.
Wait, we had 3 minutes. Can I just bring up the African niggas that fake beat up the white girl?
I don't know what you're talking about. You sure
Hold on, before you do that, hold on, wait. There's something more important.
What?
A real one died today. Rich Homie Quan. I think he died due to an overdose. When I joined, y'all were in a serious conversation. My whole plan was to play the entire walkthrough verse, and y'all were gonna have to sit through it and deal with it. But yeah, shout out to Rich Homie Quan. I listen to a lot of his music. Unfortunately, I guess he's been depressed and hooked on drugs and killed himself today. So, but shout out to him. But yeah,
people are saying, as oddly as it is, that this is because of the Young Thug trial and that he was silenced. I don't know how to feel about people saying crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did see him speaking on the Young Thug trial like 2 days ago, which is crazy that he died today. But yeah,
we lost Beat King too.
Bam, thank you for the kind sub. Consider guys supporting the channel. If you got Amazon Prime, just Prime Game, consider using that one free sub here. But Bam, thank you for helping us out with that sub.
It was the second link I sent you was like this like propaganda of a white girl in a MAGA shirt, and nobody shows their face because they know that all this is BS. This is like 100 times worse than Jesse Smollett. But they got two niggas with like bandanas, like they just look like fake niggas, and they not niggas at all. These is the least niggas I ever seen in my life. Like they trying to talk black, but you can tell they Africans. And there's like two African Americans beat a defenseless white girl for wearing a Trump shirt. Real racism. And they kicking her at the bottom of her shoe, but she covered in blood, fake blood.
Wait, it's a reverse Jussie Smollett?
Well, yeah. I guess, yeah. That would be the best way to put it.
This is only worse than Jussie because they actually were dumb enough to release the video.
Yeah. Like 148 million views.
They're obviously tapping her. This is crazy.
We hit you, white girl. What are you doing in America? This is real nigga territory. Like I'm like, bro, we can't hear your accents. Like, I promise. I was like, is this the Prince of Zamunda?
Back to America. Is that the nation?
Oh wow!
Coming to America.
Yeah, come to America.
The super racist dude, Shotgun Left, commented on this. I see him in the comments.
Shotgun Left.
Socks.
No,
Socialism.
Shotgun Left. Oh, Oh, that
I can't
person.
remember what he said. He said some wild nonsense about black
STL.
people. So every time I see his name, I have to bring up.
He's pushing back against it. He's saying this. He's calling it bait.
Yeah, STL was a good one.
No, I'm
I
just
believe.
saying. No. I can't. This nigga said something about big lip black people. So I can't remember what he said. No, that nigga said wild shit about black people.
I know
can't-
there's
and
like
it wasn't just like talking about phenotype. It was like some actual racist shit.
there
I can't
was
remember what it was.
another guy named like Dem Sock Left or something like that. He had a similar name to Sock Done Left.
Oh, he was a different guy.
Look at you spewing misinformation, just like
there-
that. It was Russian propaganda. This nigga's bought and paid for.
I think I don't
That
know.
is insane.
So you
No, it's this nigga.
I don't know.
Socialism. No. I'm gonna post the link. Yeah, you have me thinking I've been out here doing this.
Well, I'm
'cause I've
just
been
saying
talking about this
that there was another person who had a similar name that he got confused with all the time way back when. And oh yeah, this is the guy Sock Done Left.
Yeah, this is him.
So I'll take a look at this. We don't had good relationship with him. This other guy that I'm thinking of harassed me like for a long goddamn time for months. He like lost his fucking mind for some fucking reason. I don't even know. I think he had like a big problem with fucking Doobie. And then he took that out on me. And he was like on Twitter, like he thought like the best attack vector was to like attack me on Twitter. Motherfucker, I don't read Twitter. But he was on apparently like atting me like forever. I literally never even saw him. The only tweets I saw were the ones that people like screenshotted and sent to me because I don't fucking know. But he thought he was really gonna get to me. I don't fucking care. So yeah, but I'll have to take a look at this. I have had really good relations of Sock Done Left. So
Me too. That's why I was so pissed when I think when he was like 2 years before he blew up, he was posting racist shit in Destiny server or something, and the shit came out. This was after I think me and him were on one of your panels. We were all on a panel somewhere together. I was like, yo, dude, it's kind of cool. He's got some crazy ideas, but he's kind of cool. And then it was like the next day that I saw some shit like that. But I can't.
But I'm about to say, if you take honestly, like unfortunately, if you take like 85% of white people on the internet and you go back to if they was on the internet when they was 15, you're gonna find something crazy. It's like, I don't understand why it shouldn't be that way.
If you had a Twitter,
I don't believe that.
If you had a Twitter account before 2015, all your tweets are wild. All of them.
Mhm.
All of them.
Some really bad tweets for sure.
Horrible tweets.
But yeah, I had some.
But
really
why has it
terrible
got to be
tweets.
nigga though? Why is it always nigga? That's the thing to me.
Don't forget Facebook.
I have said
Yeah.
constantly that that's like the favorite slur, and people keep arguing that it's not. For some reason, that's the one that always comes up. I don't hear the other wild ass ones, just that one.
Yeah, I had some really bad tweets before. I was on Twitter in 2009. Like
Me too.
Like-
Like sometimes I get like a random Twitter like or retweet from like 2011, and I feel ashamed. I'm like, who said this? And then I like, nigga, I said that. Like, but then again, I was like, it was 10th grade. Like, you gonna have to take it up with him because like I was a whole different person.
I
Did
actually
y'all see-
downloaded. I
Did y'all see
downloaded
the Trad Wife?
React.dev. Oh no, go ahead.
Did y'all see the Trad Wife influencer that was just throwing out the N word like just randomly during her little videos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Yeah, remember that she was like the girl that was faking it, like she was being racist so hard that like people, even the like KKK was like disavowing her. They was like, she's a bot. Like there's no way she's this. Like because you didn't feel it in her. Like you could tell she was trying to get paid by like a right wing corporation because she was like, I don't care what these niggas say. Like I'm pro America, do this. Like she was like, I don't care if I get blocked on TikTok. And it was just like, we don't buy it. Like you're not racist for real. You ain't. I don't even when she said it, I didn't believe you. I'm like, they not gonna pay you off. Like, and it was crazy. I'm like, nigga, you can feel racism. I can smell it. Like this ain't new to me. And nigga, I'm smelling. I'm not. This ain't got the right stank to it. Like you felt uncomfortable. You flinched when you said nigga. You didn't mean it. Like I'm looking in your eyes.
This.
Yeah, I said link. It's crazy. And then she got disavowed by everybody. She thought she was gonna blow up and get like right wing stuff, but they were like, they didn't believe her either. They was like, yeah, she's paid for it. There's no way anyone's this racist.
Hold on, how did they say it? Let's say it again. No, hold on.
She's paid for. She's paid for. Yep. I don't trust her one bit. I think she's She's one of them. She's with the niggers.
I was just
But-
gonna say,
You on your Kamala Harris, huh?
huh?
Nah, he on his
Start
Kamala
the
Harris.
topic, Prime.
His voice.
Start the topic, Prime.
No. Smooth about to go, man.
On it, Kamala Harris. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with the lady. She's straight.
He talking about her switching their voice.
Considering what we didn't
Code
had
switching.
in previous, she's straight.
You got me fighting with GSU. I've been watching your videos, Smooth. I know what's up.
I didn't.
Great.
So I looked at the article you provided. It didn't show, at least maybe it did in some link, but it didn't show the it didn't show like any of the messages. And he was saying there was just jokes. Look, man, like I think again, I don't know, I haven't seen him. But yeah, like if he's a white kid. He's a white kid, like man now, right? But he's a white kid. And like white kids on the internet say awful things. Awful things. It's just a matter if they're recorded. White kids on the internet have said awful things to me, very specifically, way before I was on Twitch, right? Like the worst things. It's just a matter of like, can you identify this individual and you know, and those the things that were said to me weren't jokes, right? I know that much. But I don't know if these were jokes on his end. I have no idea. I can't adjudicate that. But I can believe that it might be. In any case, like from everything I had heard of him, it seems like when all my interactions with him, it seems like he's changed. But then again, I don't know his heart, and we were never like best friends or anything. So I don't know.
You was best friends with a racist. It's cool, bro. It's cool, man.
I mean,
I've
had a lot of bigots in here, actually. Yeah. All right. So, thank you. Oh, GSU Gambit for using your Prime Gaming resub here. Thanks so much. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, I blinked out.
Okay. You all right? You okay there? All right.
I had a moment. I read something and then I lost.
Okay. Did you come into some money? Is that what you really like? A whole bunch of money coming your way? All right. Subs to channel then.
I'm watching my fantasy league right now. Like, so I was reading the thing. I was reading the update. Cause that's where I was at. I was getting some food, and then watching the game, and I was like, oh yeah, I got Lamar Jackson. I'm up.
Okay. All right. So topic for the night. A rapper named Plies. Please? How did you pronounce it? Plies. Okay. A rapper named Plies complained on social media about black men expecting Kamala Harris to explain herself, quote unquote, explain herself to them. He claims the questions that Kamala gets are unfair and wouldn't be asked of a white male politician. This comment has received pushback from others who feel like a campaign is the perfect time to ask a politician to state their values and positions. How closely should the black community examine Harris's record? Should our focus be on her possibly historic rise to the presidency? Or should we be more critical of someone from our community who is looking to represent us on the world stage? And credit to Waterkai for sending me this article originally. Much appreciate you, friend. But yeah, so rapper, he puts out the same. He was very upset about Kamala's treatment, and he specifically called out black men on this, saying that black men were coming at her in some sort of disrespectful manner, and that this is like categorically different from the way that we approach white politicians. And others, I think it was like Charlemagne the God or something, I don't know. We're saying that this is normal for like a campaign. When you're interacting with a politician, they should actually let you know what the policies are. You should be questioning them again and again and again before you make your vote. So I wanted to see like where you all land on this. We'll start with our friend Bam, work our way around.
So I'm am a pretty big Kamala fan, but I do think people are asking her unique questions. But my position isn't that they shouldn't do this to her. My position is actually we should do this. We should do it more often, but with decent intention. I do think that some people are being unfair in the way that like the things that they're expecting of her. Like, why hasn't Kamala came out and made her speech about the like a full on like a speech dedicated to the Black agenda? And the reason is because policy like that would massively like if she actually ran on race first policy, like at least in as far as in election season, she would it would like have a massive hit to her credibility. They're already attaching a lot of these things to her, but right now it's just words. Like she doesn't run technically as a quote unquote the best black candidate for the job. She runs as the best candidate for the job. She doesn't run as the first woman. Like she says that like I understand that that'll be a byproduct of it, but she's not running as a woman. She just happens to be a woman. And I think it's the right call in terms of electability. But yeah, I don't think people are being unfair to ask her what her values and positions are. I just think it's unfortunate that it takes a black candidate for someone for a lot of people to even have like a level of interest in politics. But yeah, I don't believe that Trump or other politicians are being held at the same standard she is.
Okay, let's go to Waterkai. Again, thank you for the topic.
Absolutely, glad I could help. I'm gonna say that I agree with Bam to a great degree on this, in that they didn't have the same energy for Joe, and they don't have the same energy for Trump. Where Kamala has come out with some policy things, to what difference it is from her original platform to what it is now probably hasn't changed drastically. She's already come out in 2019 and said she would sign a bill for reparations. I don't expect her to be, the black candidate or anything on that order, because she's America's president. She's not just black people's president. I said the same thing about Obama. So to expect an all black platform is just lunacy. But the level of recalcitrance that a lot of people, especially black men, have toward Kamala, it just seems unwarranted if they're not going to keep that same energy across the board. And so with that being the case, they wouldn't be saying the same thing about Joe. But in this instance, her not putting forward her platform has been helping her campaign, because it hasn't been necessary, as the alternatives campaign has been floundering. So I don't see Trump being a decent alternative to be pressing this hard, because he had 4 years. He didn't do anything for black people, really. Like, I think the best he got was prison reform. So I have no expectations coming from him, and he divided up the country. Like, there's a million and one reasons not to vote for Trump. So this is still a lesser of two evils thing. I don't see where they'd be putting their vote otherwise. And I'll end with that.
Recalcitrant is crazy. I had to Google that. That was a fantastic word choice, 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Wait, what? What word did he use?
Recalcitrant. That's a good. Yeah,
I never heard it.
Oh my god, that's a word. That's crazy.
It made that man sneeze.
Oh my god, black people, please, like,
y'all making us look bad out here,
like that nigga just let it. He just threw it in like a regular sense though. Like they have the recalcitrant.
It is because people use that all the time. Recalcitrant. Yeah.
People use recalcitrant.
People use recalcitrant. Absolutely.
We just lying today. I got you.
Okay. All right.
Bro, you can't do this on ABE.
Yeah. Let's not.
No, when you upload this, just put a black square.
Hey, JSU, without Googling, you ain't got time to Google. Tell me recalcitrant right now. Give me like a vague definition.
I'm not doing it.
Let's go to smooth.
Nope.
Bananas.
Smooth as sneezing.
We definitely use bananas.
All right. So anyway,
we don't say bananas like we monkeys. What are we doing?
Huh?
It stops sneezing. It prevents it.
Oh! I thought you were making a different joke. My bad.
Oh, that's crazy. No. So if I say bananas, then I won't sneeze. Bananas?
No. I thought something very different would happen. I was like, I don't know what this nigga bad is doing.
All right. So look. First of all, this is how I feel. Okay.
He got one sneeze in there.
Yeah.
I don't care what. Oh God. I don't care what. Okay. Kamala's policies are, as long as they're not Trump's. Like I literally just don't. like after reading Project 2025 in most of its entirety, after reading Agenda 47 and its Spark Notes version, it's just a Spark Notes version of Project 2025, knowing that most of his people did, did write it, knowing that his vice president is basically the what is it, the Heritage Foundation's guy, and he's the only reason, excuse me, it was a burp instead of a sneeze, thank God. That his that his vice president is the Heritage Foundation's guy, so that they have an in on him, and that's their reason of pledging full support behind him. Because basically, they said they're gonna pull their support if they can't be sure that they're gonna have a guy in there. Basically, I'm not gonna go full conspiracy theory. I'm gonna leave that alone. But needless to say, it's all bad on that side. And then it's like, okay, well, let's be critical of Kamala Harris. So I've been fighting Palestinian TikTokers. I've been fighting the regular MAGA people. I've been fighting and it's just the
media.
And it's just the TikTokers. It's not necessarily the actual Palestinian people that are a problem. It's just the ignorant TikTokers that aren't even in America. Like every time I go find out where these people live, it's not in America. So I'm like, just shut up. Like y'all are on TikTok in English, like making complaints about Kamala Harris. You don't even live here. You don't even live here. Like, deal with your own government and what they're not doing to support Palestine. Let us deal with ours.
They
and then if you're gonna, so I'm saying that to say this: if you're being critical of Kamala, you know what I'm saying, knowing that Trump literally was okay with them wiping you off the board, with them wiping you off the face of the earth to where you don't exist, that's a problem. That's a problem when you know the alternatives language and where their stance is with it. Do I think the questions are unfair? The questions aren't necessarily unfair. It's, do the questions matter? Do the questions matter? Kamala seems to have decent character and seems to be a reasonable person that when confronted with new information will change her mind and go, okay, that is good. I can live with somebody like that because all I have to do is have a sound argument and then you will listen to me. And then you might change your mind because you realize this is good. The other side is just irrational and for themselves. I'm done.
You sick, my brother? What's going on with you?
Allergies, bro. Allergies, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably allergies. It's like 105 out today.
Where y'all live?
California, it's 105.
I'm in Virginia now, like so. Like my allergies are going crazy.
It's a good drink song too.
So you're smoothie probably gonna have the problem with me later on. Talking about Palestine, but we'll
I'm gonna have a problem with you later on. Do I have to send you the videos?
I don't know what videos you're talking about, but
no, it's just the TikTokers. That's why I had to look. It's just the TikTokers.
I don't know
that don't live they're not in Palestine and they're not in America. They're in random countries in Europe
or Canada.
It's just them. They have issues. They really have some anti-black stances.
I think you just praise them in Prime's power level.
Yeah, I had a chat with Ali about it.
Prime will watch you be like, these niggas spit.
Them. Like I fool with Palestinians. It's literally just them.
Okay, I will have to.
I've been searching through TikTok. It's just them.
Okay.
Even Palestinians are like, can y'all shut up?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know about TikTok.
Yeah, I don't want to derail the conversation.
Yeah, Ali agreed with me as well. We had the conversation, so yeah, pretty much the deal.
Go to GSU.
Yeah, so Plies has released some great music.
Buzz it, baby.
Real Testament was a good album. If you're white, you should listen to it. There's some extremely racist stuff on there, which isn't good. But yeah, so I've always respected some of Plies' music. He brought us Miss Pretty Pussy, which was great too. But but on this issue, Plies is this is one of the most irrational, crazy things I've heard in my life. One, we're talking about politics. So the idea that we want politicians to explain themselves, especially if they're of our ilk and how they plan to help us, of course we should do that. So it's kind of silly to say, don't ask this Kamala stuff because she's black. But second, we have done this with every Democratic president or presidential hopeful throughout history. Like, what are you going to do for black people? What are you going to do to make things better for black people? This is something that literally, I'm pretty sure if you go to Prime Panels in 2020, this is what we were talking about, right? So I don't think there's anything unique about what has been asked of her. And I don't think there's anything unique about asking a politician what they plan to do for your demographic. That's what we should do. So it was completely irrational. When I even read the prompt, I was like, wait, he said this is crazy. He said this out loud. But additionally, I think she finally did an interview with CNN and she was asked 2 questions about race. And she showed that she's just not somebody who's ever going to try to be helpful to black people. So the people that are hoping that she does anything for black people is, to me, you're being unbelievably shallow if you think that her goal is to attempt to help black people. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thanks so much, EQ.
I don't even know who this guy is, honestly. But
No,
like,
I'm gonna send you some. I got you.
I know
I
they
haven't
all
seen
got
her.
like
pussy, baby.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
EQ.
I'm gonna send that.
But yeah, I don't even know who this guy is. But like, honestly, if we're gonna try to be like hopeful that like another black president is gonna do shit for us, let's be real. There's a lot more white people than there are black people, and they have to be center on everything. Otherwise, they're going to get racism. But racism still exists either way. But like, yeah, I just think that just who cares at the end of the day? Like, you still gotta like answer for what you are and what your policies are and what you believe. But like this online shit, it don't matter. Like at the end of the day.
Okay.
So-
So yeah, I don't know who this guy is. My first time
I just
seeing
sent
his
y'all
face.
4 songs. I
I'm
just said
not
4 songs. Y'all listen
The
to
man who
them.
made Dick Sucker? Come on now. Ran off on the plug twice?
Okay, ran off on a plug twice. Okay.
You don't,
Okay.
you don't remember Dick Sucker? Dick Sucker went double
Like,
nickel.
Smooth, you don't know Plies?
No, I do know Plies, but only
Oh.
reason I said Dick Sucker was like, yo, like on here, like, come on, man. Come on,
No,
man.
but I thought you were saying you didn't know Plies. I was like, hurt.
Mm.
Okay.
I was like, that hit me here. Okay, good.
You didn't
Yeah.
send that one over.
So I'm saying, where was the smoke for Joe Biden to the level
Hold on,
that?
wait. Prime was about to say
okay.
something, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Who's about to give his pro Kamala stance? I want to hear how he creates
Me?
this.
Come
Me?
on, bro.
You were about to. Go ahead and try. Go
Me?
ahead.
Me?
I know you're anti-Palestine. You're about to do it. I saw it in your eyes.
Anti-Palestine. Okay.
Whoa.
Alright.
I mean, pro-Palestine.
Yeah, I'm pro-Palestine, which is why I say fuck Kamala. I'm not voting for Kamala.
Really?
I
Say
said that
that
many
woman
times.
name
I
right.
say I'm not even voting for her.
I thought you said you
But
changed
Trump
your opinion. I
was
thought
Hold on.
said-
What are you voting for then?
He's not.
But Netanyahu came forward and said that Trump is the best friend that Israel has ever had. So either way, it's not going to be as bad voting for Kamala as it would be voting for Trump.
It's
So
not
like, either way, you're getting a win.
like it's not like that,
Okay.
right? But like at the end of the day, it's like if you're not giving the policies that Americans want, like why should they vote for you? Like you're not giving them a reason to vote for you at all.
Because the alternative is really, really worse.
You're
And
again,
she is doing positive things.
you're saying the alternative is worse, but where is the policy? We
I mean, she
know
does have
that
policies.
nigga has no
She doesn't
policy.
talk about policies.
But
She
where,
does talk about policy.
Well,
She's
she's
the
been
entire
talking about
economic
policy.
I
platform.
said, what are you planning to do in your first 100 days? And she was like, yo, I'm going to like help the middle class. Like, what?
Well, okay.
What?
No, the question she got was like her first, like on the first day, and I think that's a terrible
Which they ask,
question.
they
They
ask
do.
this to every nigga.
They-
And she was like, I'm going to do some shit that's going to hopefully help the middle class. Like, this shit was stupid.
No, but I think it's a bad question. Like I think that
It's
like
not. It's not.
it
What are your
super is.
priorities, nigga? What are your priorities?
it's saying what? No, it's not. What are your
candidate
priorities?
can't answer with policy. It's a bad question.
No,
that's exactly what I want to know.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it right now. I think it's a bad question because it creates this performative idea to sign a bunch of EOs. Because you can't pass policy on the first day. All you can do is executive orders, and it pass whatever name you can do. Like and they put an article next to it. Like Trump signs the most executive orders in first day history. Then the next president, Biden signs the most executive orders in first day history. But it doesn't.
Okay, I still want to know what you're gonna do.
But I don't care. I don't care what you do in the first 24 hours. I think it's a bad question. Like if I was a politician and I got that question, I would be like, realistically, the changes I want to do can't be done in one day. Like but American people don't want to hear that. They want you to fix everything in the first day. Like what's that first 24 hours?
It's just what are you gonna do? It just say fix the whole system.
Yes, that's what they want you to do. Fix the whole system day one. That's exactly what people want.
Nobody expects that.
What I want is the president to get Congress and Senate whipped up in shape and order to be like, hey, I want to pass these policies, get this shit together and get that shit on my desk within the first 100 days. That shit could happen if they really wanted to. But
not in the Congress we about to have.
Okay, hold on. So look, here's my thing, and this is just real talk with Congress. Like, that's on us. Congress is always on the people, and people are never educated enough to make sound decisions on Congress. So therefore, they shouldn't even exist. We should just vote on the policy. So then the people that do vote can just vote. Because I have more faith in individuals than I do Congress.
You want a direct democracy?
You want direct democracy?
A direct one-to-one democracy would probably yield us a bit better results.
You say people aren't educated on the politicians or the policies, and then you want
more power. You want to give these niggas more power.
Wait, let me explain this. Let me explain this. This is why I say this.
No smoke.
No. Here it is.
The hood has OGs for a reason. You see what these young niggas are doing? Do you not see what young niggas are doing across this country? You want those young?
Hold on. So look. That means the two parties would basically have no power besides just the presidency.
Because no one would have power.
No. It'd be kind of good. No, so let's hear me out. It'd be kind of good because then you can have the majority of the people that are actually smart enough to actually read the shit. Because most people,
but they don't outnumber all the niggas that's gonna vote randomly.
Yeah.
No. What I've noticed, and it's just me, and maybe this is me, but popular vote wise, people make sound decisions.
Hold on, but this doesn't. Hold on. Okay. I'm not. Let me try to nuance this. Okay, because I like ballot initiatives, right? That's like when we give a direct democracy, where we're voting on an issue and we put it on a ballot. That works fine for like a limited set of issues, though. But to actually run a government, there's hundreds, thousands of policies that get voted on, right? Sometimes there's like slight changes to policy. We
have notifications, Prime. What are you talking about?
I guess.
Yo, we're voting on abortion at 9:30. What are you talking about?
Yo, honestly, like with the economy, we're running out of money in 10 minutes. We will vote on a new raise.
No. Listen, I think direct democracy, in some respects, will be good. We're not about to sit here and act like that shit will be reasonable to run our country with notifications.
I'm voting myself a raise every 15 minutes. I'm gonna run out of money. I'm putting it on the ballot.
We will not let this be the AB. No, we will not let this be the AB position, bro. We're not saying niggas are gonna direct democracy. No,
it's like a Twitter poll. That's how we would do it. You just see the little poll move around. Like that would be crazy. It was like, hey, how y'all want to get rid of guns? And then we just see the poll.
You know what? One thing that I do like though, I do like how Elon Musk has been doing that with features on X.
I should have known that. We could have convinced him anything if we said Elon Musk likes it. If Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson say they for it, GSU like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense.
If they say they for direct democracy, I'll be standing on the other side. But hold on. Do y'all think it's fair to ask one, a politician, but two, a black politician who her blackness is coming into question as of late because maybe her father doesn't identify as black, which is a whole other wormhole. But do y'all think it's not fair to ask a black politician what are they going to do to help black people? Like, that was the core of what
do we
Pi said,
ask
right?
Trump
I don't think it's
what he's going to do to
unfair.
help white
Yeah,
people?
yeah, that's what the whole. What's the shit that Ice Cube did? Wait, Queen, I can't hear you.
No,
You're
he
like a
asked
little
about
low. Go
he
ahead.
said
So
white
that's
people, not
what
black
we
people.
do with any person of color that
Yeah.
comes to office. Yeah, we won't ask a white person, what are you going to do for white people? But if it was an Asian person, we'd be like, people would be like, what the fuck are you going to do for Asian people?
But we do ask white people what are they going to do for black people. That's what the contract with Black
about
America
black
was.
people.
They're
But
not.
they're talking about their own race, is what they're saying. And
No, but we even do this with people outside of our race.
I know, but you ask them about a separate race. Like you could ask Kamala Harris, "What are you going to do for men?" And that's an easier question than what are you going to do for women. There's some issue with the idea of like, having like there's an issue of electability like among the average American person. Like if they're running on the idea that they're going to have a bias towards their own people. Like
we're not going to have a bias. We said, what is your plan?
I'm just saying that anything she says is going to come off as a bias. Like I understand getting in office. Like I understand. There's my own personal interest in like what I wanted to talk about, and I know that like the way she talks about things related to black people can lose her the election. Like I can balance I can hold these two positions simultaneously.
That's crazy.
You appeal to one. They say they're like, oh, I want every bill to.
So you think if she says that she'll do anything for black people, that definitely harms her chances of being president?
I think so. Yeah, unfortunately.
What?
You disagree? You
the
don't
Democratic
think
Party has taken your soul? You don't even think they can advocate to niggas anymore? Jesus Christ! Of course they're not gonna do nothing for niggas if this is their opinion.
I mean, no, like it's a.
They convince y'all, nigga. Don't even let them pander to you. That's what you're saying. Yo, that's crazy, bro. What?
No, I think it is.
Niggas are in the state that we are,
and we shouldn't be voting. Why even bother voting? Like I say, why even bother voting if they're not going? No. If you're saying that they can't even like message to us that things are going to be better, then why should we vote for them? And in fact, things often aren't better, right? Like the Democrat, things actually aren't better. So like, I mean, I don't like. Why would we as a people be invested in the Democratic Party if they're not even pretend?
It's not about the Democratic Party. It's about general, like the general American populace and how they relate to things. Like the worst, and I think me and Smooth, whenever as soon as Kamala was selected as candidate, even we had like the first conversation we had is like, okay, she can't attack the presidency as girl boss. Like it's not going to go over well with people. You can't lean into the identity politics of it. Like that, it's just like, and I don't like. I don't think there's a problem
know what that means. What does girl boss mean?
Like it's a heavy lean.
I've heard this word, but not in this context. I don't get what you.
Yeah, it's a heavy lean into like girl power, identity politics. Women, women can do anything type of thing. Like
that's what Hillary Clinton did.
Yeah,
and she lost because probably directly related to that.
No, she lost because she was a crooked ass person.
No, I think it's super had effect.
That's part of it, bro. Like it just
she lost because Democrats were apathetic and she was a criminal,
bro.
She lost for lots of reasons. She lots of reasons.
That's reason. That's reason.
Go ahead. You go first. Smooth.
I guess my main thing is like with asking her the questions, I don't think it. We know it does not help her campaign. Asking her those questions, it does. No, it actually doesn't. As far as a no. I'm saying just for her the way it doesn't. As far as the voter base is concerned,
can I repeat this back to you and see if you agree with it?
Sure, go ahead.
Kamala Harris shouldn't speak for black people. And that's good for her. That's good for her candidacy. That's what you believe?
No. That's not what I believe. Let me.
So what's the difference then? I'm just repeating it back and doing that.
So look. Here's the thing. What I did, actually went and did my research on this woman. I watched old clips and all that. So I seen that she is strongly in favor of doing things for Black people. Her coming out and actually vocalizing it would turn more people off because more people are
That would make
actually
niggas go
no,
to
no,
the poll.
so listen. Let's just be fucking realistic. Most of the country's fucking white. Most of these fuckers are
Yes.
low key racist. That's just what it is. All right.
I don't
No.
believe that.
No,
I
no.
don't
There's a
believe
difference
that
between
either, but
racism,
no.
hating Black people, and wanting to hear
Racist
about
or
Black people, hear about race.
racist or prejudice or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they have a stance
Be right
that
back.
is not all the way towards Black people. That's just what it is.
I don't think that's most
They
people.
don't want to be
no,
reminded about
no,
race,
no,
even if they're not anti-Black. They don't want to talk about
It's
race.
enough. Look, it's enough people in a voter pool to where it would swing places that don't need to be swung. She's polling
But
well.
I think
No,
you're presenting this. Oh no,
she's
I'm
polling
interrupting
well.
you. Go ahead.
If you lose, right, whatever percentage of the Black portion you lose versus you lose the percentage of white people, that is a heavier burden to we don't even have the actual voting base there to actually even swing anything.
That's not true. Black people's
No, not to swing anything enough when you're talking about in comparison to losing. Let's say if you lose 10% of white votes, right, versus you lose 30% of Black people, though those numbers aren't even equal. The 10% is still more, just based on population.
Bro, I'm
Just
not
based on
asking her to
population.
have. I'm not asking her to have a Fred Hampton campaign, but she should be able to say something that she plans to do that will positively affect Black people. And I don't think saying that is going to alienate her white base.
Okay, but do you think? But let's take it to the extreme. Do you acknowledge that, like, if she ran a Fred Hampton campaign, you understand it would have like a negative, like, taste on a lot of Americans' mouth?
For sure, but I never asked her to do that.
I know, but I just want you, before you call us insane, start at like the best face possible of what we're saying, and you believe that there's some
But that's what that's the question on. So is your message she shouldn't speak to Black people because speaking to Black people would be bad for her? It sounds like y'all are saying yes, but you don't want to bite the bullet.
I'm saying she got to watch her words.
No, that's not what you're saying.
No.
You're saying that she shouldn't speak to Black people.
No, her first thing is in Atlanta.
I'm saying the questions that are asked of her, if she gives the answer that people want, it's a losing answer.
Sorry, hold on. I gotta jump in because Smooth said stuff while I was in the bathroom, and this is like nonsense. First of all, Black people have a massive impact on the democratic elections, right? Like, Black women are
Black people and suburban women are probably the two most important votes.
The Black women are the most reliable votes for the Democratic Party. And Black people tend to live in the states that are swing states, right? Yes, if she demobilizes the Black community by somehow making it clear that she's like not going to speak for them, right? If she demobilizes that could shave off enough people to absolutely lose this election. It's not a national election; it's an election of swing states, right? Because of a bullshit electoral college. That's the way it works. And so, if both of Black Americans absolutely within these tight margins can, if she loses like all of fucking Nebraska, no one cares. In fact, she will lose Nebraska. That's a given. She's gonna lose Nebraska. Whatever, right?
I'm gonna play this clip. I'm gonna play that if she wins Nebraska.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Go
But is it Nebraska? I'm thinking. Hey, what is
Nebraska is a split state.
It's a split state. That's a split state. Yeah, it is a split state. But she's gonna lose most of that state. But in any case, so sorry. I'm getting feedback.
Somebody's off mute.
Yeah, I hear like a stream or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's you, DQ.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Mute, please. Thank you. So like I don't know what you're talking about. We are an important electorate. That's why fucking Hillary Clinton had her hot sauce moment. She went to a Black church looking for Black votes and put it on a Black scent to accomplish that, and it failed. So like it makes perfect sense to pander. And I would say that
I mean, her second rally was in Atlanta.
yeah,
Like, I'm not. She's talking to black people.
I
She just
think,
doesn't making everything about.
Nah,
black
you're not
people.
yeah,
talking.
I think it's fair to say that, like, well, yeah, if she if her position was reparations, like the moment I get into office, yeah, I think you could say, well, she might lose the election on that. But like what we're
Yes.
talking about, like police reform, like common sense police reform or something like that. Yeah, I think you actually can get people behind something like that. Or
Is that a black issue?
yeah,
What?
I would say yes. I would say that's a black
Yes.
issue. Yeah.
Oh, but issue. I don't think you see now. I feel like now I'm calling BS. I don't think you would call that as like, oh yeah, she's talking about black people. Like what niggas want is her to
There
say
was a whole BLM movement that burned the country for a year over police reform and the George Floyd Policing Act. Do you think speaking to police reform is not speaking directly to the wants and needs that's been expressed by the black voting public? What are you talking about?
I'm calling BS. I don't even think you believe that. When people say that, like these people are asking for is because her housing bill.
Is she talking to?
Because her housing bill will overwhelmingly benefit black people, but that's not what people want. When people say, "I want you to talk about black,"
no,
they want you to say black in it.
No, wait, Bam, wait.
They do.
I did not say will the policy overwhelmingly affect black people. I said speaking to black people is speaking to the shit that you know that they care about at that moment. Police reform has been after the fucking video that we watched of the person shoot. It's been even more talks about police reform. So, and then Trump is saying we want to give these niggas immunity. Yes, talking about police reform would be pandering to black people, and that's okay. And she should do that. But you're like, what are you talking about?
Then we have a complete. Then we can get to the same page then, because that's not what the people in the thing Plaza discussing they're talking about. They're not talking about issues that benefit black people. They're saying they want to see at the top of the title black agenda, and they want to see a list of things to say the nigga bill 1, the colored bill 2, the jigaboo bill 3.
Wait, man. I think she should do those things too. What I'm saying here, maybe not those things. Maybe
not those words.
Not those things, but those type of things. But I think most people would say if you saw Kamala talking about police reform, she would probably mention some of the recent shootings. All of them would be of black unarmed people. That would be talking to black people, bro. You believe
most people
that.
don't take it that way. No, because I've had these conversations. I've had these conversations related to Joe Biden and stuff like that.
Talking to idiots, then.
Then that tells the black community, and I don't think black people are idiots.
Hold on. I guarantee you, Smooth, DQ, Waterkai, and Prime. I've not asked them if she was talking to police reform. They would think that that's a pro-black stance that she's taking.
Because the immediate response is most black people ain't even in jail. So what? Like, how is that a black issue? If you want to talk to black people, talk to all of us, both us directly. Cut the check.
No, we don't want her to do more too. I'm not disagreeing that we also want her to talk about
but if she did those things without naming black people, would you be satisfied?
Okay.
If she only did that, no, I said that from the jump. I said that I wouldn't.
So let's just talk about the other part then. This is irrelevant then. I'm talking about the
no. This is
about where we disagree
because you're saying
we agree there. I wanted to talk about
no.
Things
We
that
disagree because you said it's not pro-black or it's not like talking to black people.
No,
we actually do disagree.
No, we don't disagree because we don't disagree. Like I said, because now we just have a difference of. I had a difference of. There was a language gap. When I say that
difference, we disagree.
No, it's not a disagreement. I'm saying now that we bridge the language gap, I agree with you. She should talk about things that benefit people that happen to be black. That's different from what I think would have a negative impact on her. I'm just saying her coming out there nigga would have a negative impact.
She should actually say nigga. I might vote for her. If she said nigga and it sounded like okay, yeah, all right, cool. I might vote for her.
It worked out pretty well for Lee Atwater. I'm just gonna say, they got elected.
But
I don't know.
Basically, that's
like nigga. They deserve to be elected.
He was he was Nixon's
he was Reagan.
Oh no, he's Reagan's. Oh, I don't know if we said that word on
Reagan. Excuse me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I dropped a link for y'all in the chat because I'm a big numbers guy. So that's the population by race per state. Okay, so I want you to name me, find the swing state, and then look at the percentage of blacks there. and you try and tell me that a loss of 10% versus a loss of 30% is really that
She's not
different.
going to
No,
lose
it doesn't matter. I'm
30%
about to
of the
say I'm
Democrats.
from Georgia.
Even if she lost half of what the voting base is, I'm talking math, fam.
But some of these people are
I'm
It's
talking.
not about the percentages. It's about people who come out to vote. The reality is,
No,
like Georgia,
no,
for an
no. I'm
example,
saying
the black vote is more
no.
important to the
But here's
Democrats
the
than the
fact,
white people.
Bam. Here's the fact. Even if you took the whole number, not even breaking it down by percentages that actually come out to vote, not even if you look at people in each population that can't vote due to felonies or mental incapacitation or whatever, even if you look at it that way, it still doesn't add up.
No,
Hold on, wait, but Smooth. But hold on. I want to feel the Smooth. Smooth.
We're talking about numbers.
Smooth, hold on. All right. I think there's multiple types of white people, and you're grouping them all together. And I don't think that's fair to white people. Of the white people who hold on. Of the white people who vote for the Democratic Party, I would say a small percentage of them are the white people who would say, "Oh my God, she just said something pro-black. I'm not gonna go vote for her." This is how I feel. You might feel differently. You might think all white people, even if they vote Democrat, are like but
I just think
so this is.
I think it's a healthy number of independents that would
I
swing.
think it's less than 10% of white people who vote Democrat who would say, "Oh my God, she said the word black. I'm not voting for her." So this is what I'm saying. If you aren't sufficiently pro-black, there's going to be a large amount of apathetic people who definitely aren't going to vote for you. And I'm saying that percentage of black people is bigger than the percentage of white people y'all are saying is going to be turned off. Now, if she goes Fred Hampton and says, we can't really take this shit back, like that's different, right? But if she says regular milk toast pro-black shit that politicians say, I think that would be beneficial to her.
What state?
I think that
what state do you feel like that
Georgia.
wouldn't hurt her? What state?
Georgia.
I don't think it hurt her in any state that she's actually has a chance to win. I don't think it hurt her in any state.
Yeah, I wasn't just talking. I'm saying that, like, when you look at actual voters, like when you look at actual voters in the state of Georgia, and that's just because it's the state I'm from, and it's a pretty it's one of the newer swing states.
And there's
overwhelmingly
2% of black people live there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it just seems to be a good example to use for this. Like the Democrats that are coming out to when they come to campaign, they're not going to the predominantly white areas. That's just not them. They know the important voters are the black voters. That's why unfortunately the pandering y'all talking about. That's why they hired Meg. They was like, okay, this is like a Meg concert.
Yeah.
Try to get in, because these are actually the most important voters in the state. We need black people to come out in large numbers. We need to win Fulton County. We need to win the metro Atlanta area.
This is an important point. Kamala didn't go hire Taylor Swift. Maybe she did, so I should take that back. But I don't think she did. But that was Cardi B, that was Megan, that was all these other people.
Yeah, hold on. Well, there's multiple things wrong with Smooth's argument. One, total population isn't unimportant, right? But we need to be looking at voters and likely voters, and the most likely voters are going to be black women. Period. Right? For Democratic Party, that's how it works. You'll see that. Hey, they'll say something like, this politician, they lost the women vote, right? When they say they lost the woman vote, what they really mean is they lost the white woman vote, right? If a Democrat loses the woman vote, they lost the white woman vote. That's what it is, right? Because black women are there solid. These different populations vote in different manners, right? And what you're looking for is a high propensity voters, right? And so that's why what Bam said was correct, right? They go into black churches, right? Because black churches know how to mobilize individuals and get them to the polls, right? Find these high propensity voters and get them to the polls, and then find low propensity voters also, because they'll be working, they'll be campaigning for you, and get them to the polls. That's why they go there. They go to the population centers, and the population centers we're going to find black people. So putting your effort, right? Depending on it, the campaign, you have limited time and resources. Where are you going to put your time? You're going to put your time into areas where there are voters are excited about you, right, and will help campaign for you. But basically, you multiply your efforts. If I go to, I can, let's say I'm the Democrat running, I can go to like a swing state, right? Let's say it's Georgia. I can go to rural Georgia and make my case. I might get some individuals. I might change their minds, right? Is that a good use of my time? Absolutely not. It's better to go to Atlanta, right, or wherever other population centers there. Better go to Atlanta. Better go to the people who are most likely to vote for you. Get them riled up. Get them helping your campaign. Get them out there knocking on doors, and then that they become a force multiplier rather than getting a few people one way or other. And so, rather than looking at like, well, you're gonna alienate white people, right? First of all, the white coalition, the white population has sifted itself, right? If they got a problem with race, they are most likely in the Republican Party. That simply is the case, and I think you would agree with that. There are racist ass Democrats. We know this for damn sure. But they aren't evenly distributed within the party, and the way they vote is different, right? If race was going to be their number one thing, right, and they had really got a problem with certain races, they're not going to be a Democrat. They could be racist, right? But that's going to be lower on their list. They've got other things, and so like a Democratic politician mentioning black individuals is something they're used to hearing. Talking about black people is not going to be enough to turn them off. So there you go. I said a lot.
And yeah, I also just think that generally, like, and this isn't in the smooth because I don't want to pile on and give you 50 things to respond to. I just think, I just think generally, whenever we talk about politicians in the way they frame themselves, like my biggest fear, and I feel like most people's biggest fear when Kamala was announced was, okay, how are they going to respond to the idea of her being a woman and being black, and the importance. And I thought it was really important that she distanced herself from being the quote unquote DEI pick. Like, she's just here for this title. She's just here for these things. And I think that's going to be directly related to the why that she's moving and making the decisions that she's making. Like, it's just related to electability.
That's pretty much where I was at with it when I was making the first statement I made, is that the Republican end chose the worst way to attack her, calling her DEI, saying, is she even really black? Like, all these things they've been saying.
Wait, this
have been
panel
hurting.
agreed that she was a DEI pick. Just FYI, this whole panel.
We disagreed on it once we came to a difference on definition. Because I when I say DEI, I consider every vice president to be a DEI. And once we said that no, every president isn't, then I moved back and I was like, no, then
I forgot. Only Bam disagreed. Everybody else agreed.
I think Prime disagreed. I think Prime was there too.
He did.
No, he did.
That was the first one to say.
Wait.
That's not the smartest way to go about it.
Wait,
so they're
we're
losing
saying
votes.
she is a DEI?
Yeah.
She was expressly picked because of her race.
For vice president. So to be clear, my position is on this. I think
I remember what the comment was.
Yeah, I think all vice presidents, or nearly all vice presidents, are DEI picks. I don't think this is an extraordinary thing. So Joe Biden was a DEI pick, right? Mm-hmm. Joe Biden was picked by President Obama because he wanted to show up the white vote. He didn't think that if he put like either a woman, right, of any race, or if he picked like a black man to run with, that like a lot of these white people wouldn't be comfortable voting for him, right? They needed assurances. Okay, well, we know we got this guy to steer the, to help steer the ship, someone we trust, being, a white person, a white guy. That's why he picked Joe Biden. So Joe Biden is a DEI president. And you could go back and
I'm about to say George Bush wasn't a politician, but they were like Dick Cheney's like a long-term politician. Like all of them are you pick VPs for reasons to shore up things.
Okay, Dick Cheney is actually an interesting thing because Dick Cheney, he picked himself. I don't know if people know that story. Dick Cheney was part of his campaign, like when he was. Like when he was like formulating his campaign, he put him on a committee. Hey, I need you to do a vice presidential search.
Hold on,
right?
Wait. Hold on, bro. I know what you're saying is important, but Smooth is macking off mute, and I wanted to hear what his game sound like.
I was off mute. I wasn't muted.
No, you weren't muted.
That thing didn't mute me. What?
No,
bro. This thing.
Go ahead, bro.
This mic is trash,
What
bro.
you say? What it smell like? You was asking her. Like,
Nah, I wasn't saying
what are you
nothing crazy.
wearing?
I wasn't saying nothing crazy. That's interesting. Now I know this doesn't work. That's good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that button didn't work.
I was just
And I
saying
know.
that so the Dick Cheney was like on like the committee to search for the vice president for George W. Bush, and he was like, oh, you know, it turns out the best person to pick is me. So
Really?
yeah,
I never knew that.
he picked himself.
But he
So that's
does. He did
Oh.
fill out. I mean, he might have been correct because he did
Yeah.
like shore up a lot of like people's issue with W. Bush.
that might have been
It
the
was
case
like,
he made, and if that was the case that he made, then you'd be a
Yo,
DI
that's
pick.
OD.
So yeah,
A nigga has never picked himself
this
for
man, yeah,
That's
he was like, yeah,
crazy.
I'm the one. Yeah, that's crazy.
He's like Agent Smith. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, George Bush
Yeah.
needed someone with experience. They like everybody felt like, oh, he's just George H. Bush's son. Like, what does he have political wise? They shore him up,
Yeah.
and they were like, well, Dick Cheney offers that in spades.
Yeah, if you're especially if you're showing up for different demographics, right? Like they do it like hey, I'm a kid, I'm
Yeah.
from New York, right? Well, my state is probably locked down, right? So what state are we trying to win? Are we trying to win maybe Georgia, right? Well then let me well, I'm not from New York, but Bam is from Georgia, right? Like, hey, let's pick Bam. He'll help
Yeah.
bring that vote. You know?
Ain't nobody voting for us niggas.
So
The prime Bam
I'm gonna
pick.
say this. I'm gonna say this. I agree with this comment that I just seen, and that I wouldn't necessarily like wanna just like keep calling it DEI. I think people pleasing is a much better term for it. Because you're like, how do I appease this group? Oh, let me give them something they would like.
I disagree with Prime. I do think she was a DEI pick, but I disagree with how Prime and Bam. I forgot how many disagreements we had on that panel, so I shouldn't even brought it back up. But I forgot. Yeah, they had an insane definition of DEI, which made everybody possible was DEI. I completely forgot about that. I forgot they were wrong. They're like sometimes you know how you have rose-colored glasses. You're like, no, those niggas didn't say that. They actually did. So that's my fault for like bringing up that they had a reason. They had a reasonable stance. I completely forgot where I was. I haven't been here in a few weeks. Y'all gotta give
I
me a
don't.
break.
No, hon. We did come together. Like, I don't think because you made some good
Cool.
points. Like, because it's not that every pick for any reason is DI. I made it specific. It's about shoring up a specific demographic, right? Like,
Yeah, but you like said a white Christian. You said Mike Pence was a DI pick.
yeah, Mike Pence could have been for the Christian
That's
vote.
insane.
That's a demographic.
Because he's a
Yeah. At that point, you're saying anything is DI.
That's not
No.
that's people pleasing.
No,
That's
Yeah, I agree. It's people pleasing. Yeah, because
That's why
Fanatic was the one who made the argument
move
that she's DI. Like she was basically a charity case pick. Like they was like she was qualified, but it was like, oh, we have to pick someone from an impoverished community to like pick them up and save them.
He's specific. I think said I'm picking a black woman, right?
Yeah, he said that, but that doesn't mean that it's a charity case. Like it was still like it was the please.
If you're saying the most important attribute is that they're a black and female, that is absolutely a DEI pick, period.
Like, the most important thing about all the other, they all had most important things that they were looking for when you select for VP. Except JD. Actually, no, even JD Vance. JD Vance's most important thing was his loyalty, like because Trump does not care about his electability.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that. I wouldn't. I'm not sure if I would call JD Vance a DEI pick.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. At least maybe someone can make the case. I'm not sure what he's showing up. Right? He's providing money. See, that's an example. Like, yeah, when RFK picked his VP pick, right? Because she was a billionaire, because she's providing money, or a multi-millionaire. She was providing money for the campaign. That's different. I wouldn't call that a DI pick, right?
So
Prime is a little more reasonable than Bam. Bam is insane on this.
So because you guys wanted to do the numbers by voters, I also provided that as well. If you want to review that as well.
Wait, no one was saying that there are more black voters than white voters. We're just saying the value they add to an election.
So here's the reality of it. The black voters are your base, right? And most of them aren't going anywhere because the alternative does not like them at all for the most part. So they're not going.
Which is why you got to pander to them.
But they might not come out. They're not voting Republicans, but they might stay at home.
Look, fam, that's why you don't have to pander to them. You need to get the people that are in the middle, your independents, to your side, because there's
your base to show up too.
Your base will show up, but you don't have to.
Brown is not voting.
I'm not voting for president. I'm voting, but not for president. No.
He's just gonna leave the box empty. Which is
there's a lot of M's. I mean, there's a lot of problems.
There's a
category with that nigga
on the ballot other than those people. Like
I'm not voting for Jill Stein.
I don't think Jill Stein has a black agenda problem, right?
She actually has a very black agenda. But
really?
But she's a joke.
It's crazy black. But yeah, I think she's a thing. But her agenda was actually fantastic.
There are other people on the ballot. It doesn't matter which way you want to like pick. There are always other people on the ballot. Like I didn't vote for Kamala and Biden this first time, right? I saw some socialists on there on the ballot, and I was like, okay, I'm here for it. I voted for the socialists. If there are other people on the ballot that I'm always going to look and research everybody, I'm going to just vote for people who like are going to go with my values. I don't necessarily have to leave the box. Like,
I care about black people
to smooth. Like when you're talking about the base, right? Like to Jishu's point, I'm a gettable vote. I want to vote for Kamala. I'm like every time I pause, I'm trying to remember which name to use.
I have to pause too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Kamala like Pamela.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember. You said
she's not black.
You said the grammatical symbol Kamala. So I'm trying to remember that. Yeah, or Kamala. All right, yeah. Anyways, so I am a gettable vote. I want to vote for this woman, but she has to actually meet my policy agenda. My policy agenda is stop the genocide. Absolutely, stop the genocide. If you aren't going to do that, if you're not interested in doing that, if you're interested in continuing with genocide, then I'm not interested in voting for you. Sorry, but I'm a gettable vote.
Biden gonna get this wrapped up.
Says that Israel should be able to defend themselves. What are you talking about?
She literally says,
yeah, she means by stop the genocide, she means like, well, finish the genocide, then the genocide will be done. Yeah, obviously.
There's no genocide if there's no more of them left. The genocide is past. This genocide did. Like,
yeah,
genocide. Gotta keep up, bro.
But smooth. So my point is that like you're saying, well, you've got the base, so there's no need to pander, and by that you mean just like provide them with policies or whatever, right? Well, yeah. Well, I'm a person, part of the base. I've always voted Democrat. I've always voted in every election. But right now, my policy agenda isn't being attended to, and so I'm not going to vote for her. Other people feel the same way too. Yes, your base actually you can demobilize your base. Joe Biden, if he demobilized the base with his racist, bigoted stances on Palestine, and also just being an old man with a melting brain. So you actually have to do some work to take care of your base, or they will abandon you.
So
yeah, that's like the people that don't like Trump and his like reasonable stance on abortion.
Smooth, you let him go.
Which one?
Oh,
no, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't think it should be federally banned.
Let's move response, then we'll go from there.
Okay. So look, what I'm saying is, all right, the amount that you could gain by spending a little more time over here, because your base is already people that like you. You just gotta. So here's the thing: with getting your base back turned up, you just need a couple of good weekends with them every month. That's it. You just need a couple good weekends, because them your homies. You just gotta reassure them you still fools with them. When you're talking about getting people away from Trump, like some of his people that he's turned off, and getting them to go, okay, I'm kind of like gone ahead and fully decommit, even if it's not committing to you, but at least either not voting for him or voting for somebody else that's on the ballot. That is like, there's so many other people out there even if you get independents to just not vote for him, that's a W. That is a big W, and there's a lot of them. A whole lot. And that's the only thing I'm saying. When you're talking about a numbers game, purely numbers, because that's how you lose. You lose off of pure numbers. Because each person gets one vote. It's not qualitative. You just get one. You need to play the numbers game. So to win the numbers game, you have to speak carefully. That's it.
But what you mean? But what you mean by speaking carefully is not mentioning that black people exist. Like that's where our issue is with. Like, yes, politicians have to watch their mouths for in all kinds of ways that can mess things up. But you're saying, and Bam is saying, that mentioning black priorities equals losing the fight. I disagree with that. And if that is true, then that's another reason not to vote for Democrats, because
no, it's not a Democrat problem. It's a country
I'm gonna say this, Bam. I'm gonna say this, Bam, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna say this. It's not about not mentioning us. It does not behoove her with the momentum she has right now to do that right now. She can pull that card. No, because you said you want to mobilize the base and you want to make sure people have short-term memory. All right. If she So look, if she pulls that out now, people are gonna forget, and then she's gonna have to respond to something else later, or people are gonna have time to ask for more. Right? Well, are you for this extra thing? All she has to do, if you wait long enough to where you're close within time, just enough to get a good couple news cycles, she can throw that out there. Boom, everybody's lit. Everybody's turned up. Oh yeah, we definitely finna go vote for her. You don't have to lead with it. You can slide it in there, and then there's enough time to where the information doesn't have enough time to disseminate to turn off voters either.
Bro, it sounds like we're in 1865.
I'm just talking.
Bro, what y'all are saying? Yo, she gotta wait to November 3rd, my guy. Like, she can mention black people in the middle of all this, man. Bro, hold on, wait. All right. Check this out. All right. If Smooth were running for president,
I don't DQ, you gotta mute. We're hearing it again.
Oh, that's what the echo is, yeah. But if Smooth were running for president, I'd be for it, because I don't think people could talk Smooth out of authentically expressing his views for black people and say, yo, don't mention them niggas until November 3rd. Smooth will be out there like, yo, I'm gonna help my niggas with this, and then he move on and talk about other stuff because he's the president for everybody. But he would say something in his acceptance speech, where it wasn't really even acceptance because they gave it to her, but in his speech at the DNC, he would have said something that could resonate with, oh, yo, I fucks with Smooth. He fucks with black people. She didn't even do that. She's been hiding. She didn't even do it in the CNN interview, even though she was asked 2 questions about race. She didn't even say, I'm here for my niggas or anything like that. So that's the difference. That's why I can't rock with her like that.
So I'm pretty sure we all know this. The conservatives were going to clip farm her to death if she said anything about black people. To death.
Not anything. Like I said,
you're holding to an extreme. Not just anything, but if it sounded close enough to reparation, if it sounded close enough to giving black people some tax credit that white people aren't gonna be able to get, like if it's phrased that way, bruh, they're going to clip farm it to death. Like, all these people are trying to replace you, even the black people now. They're trying to get you up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Back in 2019, she spoke.
It'd be better than clip farming her.
Said that she would agree to sign a bill on reparations. So we already know tacitly what her platform is.
She flip-flops all the time.
We don't know what she believes.
Yeah, I don't know what she believes. No, I can't say I saw her say this 2 minutes ago, so she believes it now. She needs to actually repeat it every 2 minutes.
You really can't. You gotta do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's better than her being clipped saying, well, no, that was a California thing. That wasn't specific to Kamala. The illegals and being able to apply for housing loans. But it's better than some of that stuff. At least we're American citizens. So if she was going to be clipped for him, at least they couldn't be out here claiming that she's not authentically black.
Oh, they already tried that. I mean, I don't know, man.
That's the wildest attack.
No, but I'm saying they wouldn't be doing that if she would have made public pro-black statements.
I see.
Now she's got the people who are on the fence saying, "Yo, she's not even black, so I'm not gonna vote for her." Because Trump is on TV saying, "Yo, I didn't even know she was black 10 minutes ago."
It's only a handful of idiots on Twitter. It's not even the majority of people. Most people know that she's black.
I don't
Like-
so y'all convinced me in the last time we had this conversation. But since then, I saw a conversation that Fanatic had with Tariq Nasheed. And I didn't know that her father was putting that he was Jamaican on everything and not black as his race. And I didn't know her birth certificate doesn't say that it's black and Asian. It says it's Jamaican and Asian. I don't know if it's what's
Her
true.
father's an immigrant.
Yeah, so what?
I think just like he has.
That has nothing to do with black.
Words. No, that doesn't mean just because like when someone's
Oh,
actually
he's like
not
Tyler.
from America.
He's like Tyler. He's a color like Tyler in Africa.
No, I mean technically not in color, but that same.
Yeah, if he don't represent himself as black, then she's not black. You agree with that, right?
No.
not
You
how
say her
that works.
father is from a different country and has a different word for the thing he's describing than you. That doesn't say anything about her who grew up in America.
I'm saying if her father doesn't identify as black, I find it hard to say she's black.
That's,
Look,
that's
like-
a crazy
No.
position.
We're not. No. I hate that. I
The
hate
thing is,
that.
if this was a Republican, Jisoo has such common sense. They wouldn't expect him to and then when it comes to anything,
Yeah,
like
you agree.
all of somebody on the left,
No,
this nigga has
wait.
the most bad faith interpretation of anything.
Wait.
Like it's so crazy.
No, y'all agree. No, wait. Y'all are saying y'all disagree with me right now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's black.
So hold on.
If
So
my
hold on, hold on.
if
doesn't mean he's
both
not
of my
black.
parents identified as if both my parents identified as white, right? Being as charcoal black as they are, right? That doesn't mean that I'm not black. I'm just trying to tell you.
So Prime.
Oh wait, if your parents identified as Haitian,
Wait, don't just
like
keep
that was just
giving
the word
me.
they used. Like, oh yeah, I'm Haitian.
Yeah.
Prime's not
No,
black.
no.
What does that
So
mean?
Prime, when we have Latinos that identify as white but are of African descent, we don't call them black.
I do.
That identifies
No,
white.
So
It
That's a
identifies-
different thing. He doesn't identify as
Yeah,
white. He just says he's Jamaican.
He
Gambit.
says
Gambit.
no, wait. I put multiple
Let him keep doing it. This is
qualifications on
why
this.
the Republicans are losing. These kind of
I
arguments
put-
are exactly why.
I put multiple qualifications on this. I said if he says he's not black, and there's this growing sect of Jamaicans that feel like they're not black because black is something else, then yeah, I'm gonna say that they're not black.
No.
Well, if her dad says
not
he's,
how it
if her
works.
dad doesn't identify as black, then you would say, yeah, her dad doesn't identify as black. But we have a reason. But there's a logical reason why her dad, who's not American, has a different relationship with the words of race.
No, the word
than an
black
American
isn't
would.
just American.
No. But our racial categorizations are American. We have an American system of racial categorization, and other countries have different ones, right? Like Brazil has different categorizations for race, right? You would disagree with some, not disagree, at the least you wouldn't recognize some of those categorizations. South Africa has a very different way of characterizing race. You look at all the motherfuckers in South Africa, like, oh, you black, they would disagree.
No, wait. What you're saying is true, but let's be clear on what you're not saying.
Okay.
What you're saying is that how they may represent themselves nationally because of policy there is different from how they would represent themselves here in America. While that may be true, what we're talking about is how he represented himself in America. We're not talking about the Jamaican difference in how they categorize race.
I know, but that's because he's he's from a different country and he's still using that context, right? Or maybe he's just like he understands the context here, but he still has pride in his in the way he's been identifying his entire life. That doesn't change that within this context, right? The American context, he is black. Here's another thing. My understanding is that for a lot of Asians, right, the ones who are fresh off the boat, just come arriving to America, when they mark themselves down in the census, a lot of them mark themselves down as white. They look at their
Yeah.
skin and they're like, well, my skin's white, right? So it must be white.
Yeah,
But
I
then
consider
they
them
they
white if they do
quickly
that.
learn
You would consider them white.
that that's not what that means here, right? They get
There's no
acclimated to the
criteria.
system. Oh, I'm Asian. They don't like that's that means a different thing, and then they correct themselves. So like but none of that has changed the fact that they really mark themselves down as white, right? I mean, that motherfucker's from China. He's Asian. Like I don't know what it is. It's done.
Even
So-
amongst white people, the concept is understood. You deal with people that are Irish, what do they mark? White. When you deal with people like I'm from Spain, they mark white. Oh, I'm from France, they mark white. And you can just go down the list of countries.
Arab people
People seem to get it.
here in America, just remember that.
What? Sorry, what did you say?
Arab people from Arab descent are considered white in America.
Some people,
on the
some of
person.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
non-brown ones.
So I'm trying to figure out how to parse this because I'm not communicating well what I'm thinking. I
You're
think
talking about how they identify.
I think political labeling and what I would say on the streets is different. And I don't know how to explain this well, but if you show me a Jamaican and me and Smooth were talking in the DMs, I'm gonna be like, yo, that nigga's black. If I find out that there's a sect of Jamaican, and I'm not saying that her dad belongs to this, just to be super clear, all this shit is conditional. I consider the nigga black. But in this political conversation, if I found out there's a demographic of people that we would colloquially call black, but they identified as specifically non-black, and they gave their money to non-black causes, and they specifically were fighting for only things that were non-black, politically I wouldn't consider them black.
That's fine. I would be fine if all of those things were true and her dad was a part of that. You could say, oh, okay, her dad doesn't identify as black. That still wouldn't come to how she identifies, but I understand you may like coming to that political argument. But she grew up in the United States, kind of at the end of the civil rights
She's born
movement.
in Oakland.
She has an understanding of what blackness is.
Like that's niggas.
That
He's a
is
nigga.
indeed niggas. Yeah.
That's almost nothing more nigga than Oakland.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the South like that.
I'll give an example that'll appeal
on the
to
West
social
Coast.
conservatives like Gambit, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if
Socially conservative.
if my
I
parents
think trans people exist. That alone
okay, sure.
makes me not socially
Well, again,
conservative.
this will still resonate with you. If my parents identify as attack helicopters, that doesn't mean they created an attack helicopter, correct? You would say?
I think you're not xenogender enough. I think you should start to listen to our fellow. I didn't forgot the pronoun for attack helicopter people, but I think you need to listen to
Zers or something? I don't know.
Our fellow helicoptician, helicoptonians. But no. I think there's a level in which it's trivial and petty and stupid, but I think there's a level of organization in which I would take it seriously. And I think the white Latino, the white African descent Latinos is a perfect example. They're rampantly anti-black. I don't see them as black, even though they're black.
Hold on, so what? Sorry, what kind of? I mean, hold on. You said the white Latinos.
The Latinos that are actually black, that identify as white, that are anti-black.
Okay,
That
so that's
group of Latinos.
I'm not familiar with that particular group. I've known Latin individuals who clearly are of African descent who say, "Oh, I'm not black. I'm just Latin," even though Latin's not like a race, like a racial category. So I've heard that.
Mhm.
But you're saying there's a person with skin color like mine who's Latin, but then identifies as white?
I don't know if there's a common phenotype amongst this group, but to what you said at the first part, yes, they are of African descent and they're rampantly anti-black, and they say, "I'm not black, I'm white."
I've heard.
I think I
Okay.
think there's a level if OJ himself is a stupid guy, right? But if you give me a million OJs, then maybe I'm gonna start to say these niggas not black and these niggas are more than just stupid. Like there's something distinct about them, and they're in enough number where we should take them serious, and we should
I mean, I guess I
like.
understand that part. Yeah, for okay, I understand for political purposes. I guess I get that. It doesn't. I guess for political purposes, I get what you're trying to say. For the big enough constituency, it's something that we should take in. If there was only one trans person, it's like, all right, well, this is a weird thing. But we're not really going to accommodate this. But if there's 1 million, 2 million, 3 million of them, okay, then this is a politically salient group.
You know what? That's a perfect example. Like, if there was just one trans person that's saying, "Hey, I'm a woman," I think it would get trivialized a lot.
Hmm?
Once there becomes a sufficient number, now you have to actually say, "Wait, this is an actual group. Maybe some of their ideas we have to respect, some of them we don't."
Yeah.
That's like a perfect example. Yeah, that's a great example.
Okay.
God, sounds terrible.
It's just the truth, though.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
like gender is.
Do you disagree with that, DQ?
I disagree with how he said some of your ideas we agree with and some of them that we don't. Just referring to trans people.
Okay.
But you don't agree with all of the ideas, right? You don't think that biological males should compete in sports with biological
How did
males,
this?
right?
How we get here?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Wait, how do we do this again?
No.
Again, I do not care if you identify as a woman or as a man. You should be able to compete in those Olympics, and we'll just leave it there so we don't have to go into this deeper.
Let's not do
Oh, I
that.
didn't know
Yeah.
you thought that. Okay, this is okay. We should talk later.
But I I agree with you, issue that we don't necessarily have to like just because there's a politically salient group that exists doesn't mean that we as society have to buy into all of their ideas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So fair enough.
So my thing is this. My thing is this. Black people, we act a bunch of different ways in a bunch of different situations. Like that's just is what it is. We are very broad in what we like and what we do and all that. That's fair.
No, we just like hip hop and chicken. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all
Yeah.
my
Of
only
course,
options. Those two things.
of course. I only bump R.I.P. Rich Homie Kwan. That's all I bump. However,
Yes.
here's the real thing here, right? What is the initial barrier entry to being black? All you have to do is just be born of some type of African ancestry. Like that is literally what it boils down to. Because when we were initially brought over here, that's what it was. Jamaicans are just black people that didn't make it all the way over here. That's what it is. Therefore, when you go genetically speaking, she's black. She had some level of black in her. So if she wants to claim black, she can. She phenotypically looks black.
Oh, nobody's disagreeing with that, I don't think.
Right. So that's what it is. Now, if you want to talk about some of her cultural stances, fine. That's a whole nother thing. But she is black because the barrier of entry is just DNA.
Well, yeah, I don't want to hang on this topic anymore. I mostly agree with you, but I think there's some nuance there that I want to keep going back into. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we hit it all. Guys, if you really enjoyed this topic, consider helping us out. We only got one sub today. Consider helping out the channel. Sub to the channel, give bits or give subs. Support this channel. I literally can't do it without you. So if you liked all the different opinions and I think we have some good argumentation today. Please consider helping out the channel. Super chats or anything. Your Prime Gaming subs, but we do need your help. So if you're not helping, then we can't have this community. Thank you, Yola Kai, for gifting a sub. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so now we have 3 subs for the month. Remember, this is September, and you get discounts for your sub if it anytime to assist. Now would be the time. Hey, now we got Naritas with the 400 bits. Help us get to a hype train. 4.5 minutes until we get hype train. You need one other person. Thank you, Naritas, for constantly being a supporter of the community. But yeah, if you like the content, consider assisting. Help us get started for hype train. Subs to the channel, give bits or give subs. Resub also counts. That there for resub messages also count as well. But help us make that happen. Okay, so let's
A quick question,
let's
bro.
go to our friend Bam. We're gonna do outros for all these great individuals. Bam, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Super enjoyed myself as always. I felt like I just felt like it was a good conversation. Nice to get back into the flow.
So much. Smooth, thank you for gifting a sub to Wild Functions. Wild Functions. Interesting. But thanks so much, man. It's really kind of you. Because that we are at a hype train, 46% done, 54% left. Help us get to a level 2 hype train. Sub to the channel, give bits or give subs. That's the way you make it happen. If you like what we're doing, if you find value in this, consider helping us out with the sub train. We do need your help, assistance for this content. Lee Water Kai, thank you for coming through.
Hey, glad to be here. I think these were all great topics that we got to today. Had some interesting opinions going on, a lot of dissension, especially from Gambit. But all in all, fun time. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again for the topic. And always trying to contribute to this community somehow. Like Waterkai is a real one, in case you didn't know, right? Like honestly, I think so. I don't think anyone here would disagree with that. So yeah, thank you, friend. We also got Smooth. We rarely get Smooth. No, it looks like he upgraded his home. Since the last time. That's where he got the money for that. He put like a down payment on his home. And mortgaged his home, and now he can. Yeah.
Let's find out you in tenant media, bro. Let us find out,
Oh,
bro.
that's great. Hey, that's great. Yeah, man. I'm just happy I was able to make it. You know what I'm saying? After eating these hot wings, man, my stomach kind of hurts. So I'm gonna go eat some. I'm gonna eat some Tums, drink some more water, and get into bed. You know, your boy getting old out here. But I love these things, and I love being here. Man, y'all make sure y'all tap in with Prom, man, for everything that he has going on.
Thank you, friend. Really much appreciated. I've been like gassy as hell. I need maybe some Tums. I don't know, man. I'm with you.
So what you should do, because you know what I'm saying, as a brother with acid reflux, you know what I'm saying, drink sparkling water, eat the Tums, drink sparkling water first, so you get your burps out, you get all that gas out, and then eat a Tum. Because what you don't want to do is eat a Tum and you haven't gotten the gas out because it's harder to burp after
I just
eating.
want to call
Because you're
out
supposed
that
to eat 2 Tums.
sparkling water is some of the most disgusting shit ever. So
Yeah.
the fact that he would recommend you do that means that he really doesn't like you.
Yeah, he
So
don't give a
I'm
damn
just
about you.
Man, I got
yeah,
two
if
of these
niggas
bad boys.
recommending bubbly to you, dog, he
He
doesn't
doesn't
fuck with you.
I got
Nigga,
2 of them.
it's
I got 2
called
of them.
bubbly.
So
It's
look,
just water with
So
vapor.
Pierre, if you want to be a bit more bourgeois, you can get Pierre. You can get like this other one. I forget what it's
Prime,
called.
Prime, don't listen to any of this. If a nigga
Yeah,
tells you to drink sparkling water, he doesn't rock with you. He
yeah.
doesn't rock.
We
Sparkling
got
water.
90 seconds left on the hype train clock. Consider helping us out. Hype train. Save the hype train. Subs to the channel. Get bits or get subs. Support this community. Keep it going. That we do need your help. If you appreciate this content, consider joining the crew, being part of the community. And if you gift enough subs, I was gonna say I'll drink whatever you want, but then I pulled back on
That's
that one.
disgusting.
I pulled
Yeah.
back
Hey,
on that one.
yo,
I was like, oh
y'all
no, I'm
acting
sorry.
so
I'm talking
left
to the
so
internet
fast.
here. Oh
Yeah.
no.
We gotta maintain
Fear factor sub
heterosexuality,
edition.
bro.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we have 50 seconds left on the clock.
Crazy good
Consider
idea.
supporting the channel. Sub to the channel, give subs. Thank you to people who've helped out so far. Gambit, thank you for coming through, my friend.
Oh, I just noticed my cam's not on. My bad. I
I
thought
thought
I
you did it
turned it
on
back on when I
purpose.
got back. No. I've been sitting here thinking.
Yeah, you were
Something
saying
has
wild
been
stuff.
capturing. Something has been capturing my camera. My camera has a light when it's like active, so that's why I thought it was on. That's crazy. But anyway, no, this was super fun. Happy to be here. Happy to find out previously Prime was sponsored by a different Russian propagandist company called Progressive Victory. I didn't know that. So I learned a little bit new about my guy Prime. But no, I was happy to be here, man. I wish I could have made it last week too. But yeah, happy to be here as always. This is always dope. Oh, one question that Nereidis asked in chat. I don't know if he was being facetious or he was being true. He was like, what makes somebody black? I think the going most agreed upon thing is that you have to have at least a grandparent that's black, and that's what I think most people use. But yeah,
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
case that was a real question, I think that's what most people say and most people use. I kind of agree with it. I think I
Yeah,
mostly agree with it. I could probably be presented with something better, but that's what I've heard the most,
yeah.
and I've been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like in this country, our historical racial categories are based on the one drop rule. And so in that case, that is a perfectly serviceable definition. Um, but just remember, other countries look at it completely. They do it in shocking ways. That are completely alien to you, and the way they make their racial categorization. So it's like not just I'm saying that to everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so just keep that in mind. And they're not necessarily wrong, or we're not necessarily right, because like race is a made up construct, so you can define it however you like to define it, and generally we define it in a way that's politically advantageous to the group that's in power. So yeah. Let's go to DQ. Thank you for being here, friend.
Thank you so much for having me, Prime. I appreciate it. And if you liked any of the comments or would like to come follow me, I'm the Debate Queen on all social media channels. And yeah, it's great to be back. It's my first stream now in my new house. So I can actually stream again. So hopefully once this room gets a little cleaned up and stuff, I can like actually do some like real gaming and stuff. So, but I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Is the move good or bad?
I really like this house that I'm in. It's just, I'm by myself again. It's a much bigger place than what I had before, so
Oh,
that's
good. I'm here
just
for it.
no backyard for my dog. That's just the only sad thing. But everything else it has that I want, dishwasher, washer and dryer, everything else. So, of
Who left out the dog?
Hey, Debate Queen, can I ask you a question?
course.
I want you to listen to those Plies songs and then the DM let us know how you feel about them.
You
But
didn't
Wait,
People
what
are
you send there? Which
questioning.
four in particular?
wait. You didn't even send the other one.
Wait,
Everyone
which one?
She won't dick
Oh, the
suck.
one that they said? Yeah, she won't dick sucker. I'll send that to you. This is kind of yikes to even have to say out loud, but yeah. This is
I know your
this is
style.
what you had.
I like your style, DQ. Don't ever let him change you, girl.
Yo, because I'm not been a Bama said some wild boy stuff in the past, but
Hey, she said she want to listen to Dick Sucker. That's my type of gal. We can use that. That's talent.
I'll send you guys over. I don't know anyone else. I'm gonna send you guys over to Rampage Paul. He used to come through here a bunch. So let's go support
What did we
Rampage
do?
Paul.
What did we do to you, Prime? What did we do?
No, I don't know, man. So I'll send you guys out to Rampage Paul. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be back Monday. Blah blah blah. Off you go.